3, 2, 1.
Salud.
Salud. Welcome, buddy. Awesome to have you here.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man, I'm super stoked about having you on here.
This is cool.
Yeah, we've known each other for a very long time,
Man.
but there's a lot of things that I don't know about you.
Right.
Like, there's a lot that I know just like from social media and from like talking, because we have a lot of friends, similar friends.
Right.
But there's a lot that I don't know about you. Hey, I don't even know if you're born here or if you were born in Nicaragua.
I was born in Nicaragua.
How old were you when you came over here?
I was about 6 years old.
6 years old?
Yep, early 80s.
Yeah, early 80s.
Early 80s.
Crazy time.
Crazy time.
Did you come straight here to Toledo, or?
We came from Nicaragua. We took a plane to Mexico City.
Okay.
And from Mexico City, we took a bus, and we landed in Reynosa, which is a border town.
Mm-hmm.
And from Reynosa, we crossed illegally.
Oh, ooh, illegal.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, it's gonna get spicy over
here.
here.
I see that shit, man. Mm-hmm. All right. So you got how'd you do that? How illegal? Like, what did you do?
Well, it was about 16 of us from the same neighborhood in Nicaragua, Managua, the capital.
Where at Nicaragua? Where?
Nicaragua. Managua is the capital.
Managua.
We were all from the same neighborhood.
Okay.
Like 16 of us, women, children. Maybe 2 or 4 grown men.
Okay.
And then everything else, all ladies, the whole nine.
16 is a lot of people when you're talking about like trying to coordinate something. That's a lot of people.
I feel like
5 is a lot of people. 16 is an extreme amount of people.
It's interesting because it almost forces you, poverty or circumstances or pressure forces you to think outside the norm. Like, you wouldn't do this if you were okay with things. No. So it forced people, whoever organized it and coordinated or whatever, the grown-ups or whatever.
The grown-ups.
Right. So whoever did this, they did a good job. They got us across. Yeah. I don't know how. To be honest, I want to have that conversation with the lady, because the lady that coordinated the whole thing, she already had a residence card.
Oh, so she's already been in. She's already done paperwork. Right. She's here.
She's been here, and she knew what to do, how to do it, and she had met people.
That's hard. That's not an easy task.
Yeah, this is a woman who I'm thankful to this person at the end of the day, because she coordinated this whole thing.
That's not an easy task. I mean, how old was she at this time?
Man, I'm assuming she must have been like late 20s in those days.
Late 20s?
Maybe mid to late 20s. Yes.
That's still exceptionally young to pull something like that off. Young. That is not easy.
She brought her mom, sisters, nieces, and they lived across the street from my family. So, and the both families, they had grown up together in the neighborhood. Yeah. Knew each other, and so she went and told, spoke to our family, and was like, we're doing this.
I'm going to ask you to a little bit closer to the microphone, just because I don't want to lose any. You see how close I am? Right. I don't want to lose any of the. Oh my God, I hear you so much better. Yes, please. And if you need to move it, if you want to scoot back, whatever. Right. But I want to hear. I don't want to lose any of this audio.
So basically, she must have been mid 20s to maybe 27, 28. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But her family lived across the street from our family in the neighborhood. So when they were ready to make that move, somehow, somewhere, these people spoke to these people like, hey, we're making this move. My dad was already living in New York, so he sent money for the airplane tickets, everything. We made it to Mexico, D.C., took a bus from Mexico, D.C. to Reynosa. The next day in the morning, we crossed the river illegally. Whole bunch of people from Nicaragua, and we crossed that river.
Did you say you were 6?
Mm-hmm. My aunt put me on her shoulders, and we crossed that river.
That's a crazy thing to go through at that young of an age.
We split up, because I remember we split up into 2 groups. Some of the women and the kids went over here with one of the male guys, and some of the other group went this way. We crossed, and then we crossed. We got separated. We got lost. We didn't know where we were at. We went to a gas station. We're in Texas now. Went to a gas station like
in the 80s.
in the 80s. And lucky for us, the person that worked at the gas station spoke Spanish. It's still Texas, but
it's Texas. Yeah, it's Texas. Yeah.
So they told us go over here, but we get picked up by La Migra. Oof. They threw us all in prison. You want to call that in prison? They put us in.
That's a prison.
It's a prison. So when we talk about, I don't want to get political yet, but we'll get to that.
I'm sure we will.
So we were locked up. They processed us. Back then, I don't know what the rules were, international laws. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, we broke some laws, obviously, but someone paid to get us out. My dad sent some money. All these other peoples that lived here sent money, and they let us out.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But we didn't have nowhere to stay because now we're in Texas, like 16 Nicaraguans in Texas.
Excuse me, can I go back in that cell for the night? We'll leave in the morning.
Right.
So,
right. So somehow, some way, there was a church that helped people that crossed, and they let us stay.
Very nice.
In that church, and we lived in Texas for a whole year.
A whole year?
A whole year till we were able to move to Miami.
Why? Why Miami?
Why Miami?
Why Miami?
The Nicaraguans were like the second wave of immigrants after the Cubans.
After the boat lift?
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the spot.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah.
I don't know how they decide. You go there. Who said that? Whose rules are these?
There's y'all like go over here. Light, and when moths are like, "Ooh, hey, that way." Right. That's what Miami was. Mm-hmm. Well, Miami, I guess, was already familiar in how to deal with that.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of Hispanics there, so it makes it a little bit easier to go, talk to people, and figure out what do we do, how do we do stuff, like how does this work. I think that would be. I don't know personally. This is my personal assumption. Yeah.
While in Miami, we weren't documented. Obviously, I mean we had paperwork, but the paperwork doesn't mean you're documented. It just means you exist.
Yes.
So then you have to do the process of getting a social security number. You get a social security card, but it doesn't mean you're legal still. You're just
that way you have a number.
You have a number. You exist. After that, I remember we used to go to immigration and get. My dad would have to apply for a work permit. That means you have a social security. You're not a resident, but you have a work permit.
But you're allowed to stay as long as you have a job.
You have a job.
Yeah.
Weird how that. You know. But
it still goes on. I mean, you can come here from other countries and have your work permit and come here. And there's a lot of people from Canada. When I used to work at the factory, and then they can live here.
I never knew that. Okay.
They can live here as long as they have that job.
Right.
And I'm talking about one specific guy, and he lived here for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "You're Canadian?" I didn't even know. I thought, yeah. I had no idea. He's like, "Yeah, he's here on a work permit," and I was like, "A work visa," and I was like, "What kind of work visa is that?" It's lasted a long time, so it does does exist. You know what I mean?
But it's growing up in Miami, in a Nicaraguan neighborhood. I lived in Hialeah. Okay?
Oh, okay, nice.
And it's interesting because we weren't the only 16 people that came from somehow, some way. A whole bunch of people came from Nicaragua. So
they were just 16 more.
Yeah. So they placed me in this ESL classes. So now I'm sitting there with I
took those classes.
Right. So now I'm sitting there with a whole bunch of kids from Nicaragua and some from Cuba. There were still look people's coming from Cuba, but not as crazy. But that was the experience, And so I grew up with a lot of Cubans. I grew up with a lot of Nicas and Salvadorians, and it's Miami, dude.
Miami's a great mixing pool of everything. Here's the one thing that I hate about Miami is they all hate on each other, though.
Yes.
Whereas, I feel like up here we have that pride, where I'm happy with the Hispanic community at large. I don't care if
unified,
I'm
It seemed like I mean, it needs work.
Yeah, it always needs work.
It could be better, but it's better than what that is. It's better than any bigger city.
But down there is that big city has a lot of hate towards each one. Like if you're Puerto Rican, fuck the Cubans. If you're Cuban, fuck the Puerto Ricans. And I'm all like, but we're all cool. Why are we mad at each other? And plus, there's all these other motherfuckers that hate us. Why don't we unite and not let that? You know what I mean? What is going on here?
I feel like that's Latinos are very political people.
Mm-hmm.
We are very political. We come from very, very political environments.
harsh environments. That's the
creates the divisions that we have within our own people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because we're very polarized. Like you're either this or you're that, and I see that in the Nicaraguan community.
You see that in the Cuban community. You see that in all communities. That's normal. You see that in the human community.
So when you put all these people that are very set in their ways of thinking, and you mix them with other people that are very set in their ways of thinking, you get the group mentality. Like, okay, so you're Cuban, I'm Cuban. Well, shit, we don't like each other, but you know what? They're not Cuban.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Nica. We're Nicas. I hear we were beefing. We had a civil war, but hey, guess what? They're not Nicas.
Yeah.
And it's like it's almost like natural to think like that.
It's weird though.
It's not right.
It's not right. It's not right. It's a little, and that's the thing. Up here, you don't see that as much.
You don't see that.
That's what I like about up here, and I think down there, I don't know if it's as bad as it used to be. Because it used to be really bad, and I haven't lived there in a while, and I haven't visited in a while, so I can't tell you. And when I would live there, obviously I was in everywhere, and hung out places, and I talked to people, so this kind of stuff. Now I don't know, so I don't know what it's like down there. I'm just telling you my experience when I was down there. I hope things have changed because I feel up here we're very unified. And again, we still have our struggles. Don't get me wrong. There's still that little bit of a spit for spat, but like overall, I think we understand. There's few of us, and we need to and we need to be proud of ourselves.
Right.
But that just because I'm proud of my Cuban race, that doesn't mean you can't be proud of your Cuban roots, or Nicaraguan roots, or Dominican,
celebrate one another.
Puerto Rican.
We can celebrate.
Yes, I celebrate the differences. It's great, and I like some of your differences. Like I like some of your food. I like some of your food. I like some of your food. The same, and some of the customs. They're very nice. They're very respectful. They're very family orientated. There's a lot of that, and so I love all that stuff. And I feel that we get more of it up here too. To enjoy it as opposed to spending time bickering over these people and that. So that's one thing that there's fewer of us up here, although it's a growing number.
It's a growing number.
It's a very growing number. But we get to enjoy that more than they get to where it's more populated with Latinos. Yeah.
Right. So I lived there till 92.
Okay.
Hurricane Andrew.
Oof.
Everybody rolled out.
Yeah.
People went different ways. Some people went back, but some people was looking for jobs. My dad's work permit expired. They weren't giving him out no more. So it's crunch time. What we doing? We going back to Nicaragua? What are we doing? So we had an uncle that lived here in Toledo, and he came up here through a church. And he was like, look, you guys, there's work here. They ain't on that immigration stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can worry about that after you get a job here. You have a social security, you have ID, you can get a job. They're not on that. Back in 92, immigration, especially in a smaller city, they're not on that. Like now,
it's a whole nother world now. But back then, the computer databases were computer databases. Excuse me, the paper files were.
We can't find it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, but you got a job, you're good. It's a little bit different than now. Yeah.
And so we came up here, and the weirdest thing to me as a teenager, I was 15. I'm like, what is this? Why don't people speak Spanish? Why don't Latinos? What? I don't understand. I was so confused.
Yeah.
And I remember in in Miami, you used to call people like that bandidos, or all kinds of names. People that didn't embrace, or what you would think, they're not embracing their culture. They don't speak Spanish. You see that here, and I'm like, so weird.
But it's harder up here. Okay, so when you're in Miami, everybody speaks Spanish, man. It's like find that one guy who speaks English. Go ahead. I like it. You know what I mean? And I guarantee you, he speaks to you in Spanish first, and then he'll talk in English. Like, oh, my bad. Up here, you don't see that, so you don't get that interaction all the time. Like you don't get to socialize in Spanish and get the accent and get the words and get all those things. Even forget the accent, just get the words.
Just get
the words is hard to do up here. My son speaks very little Spanish. It's hard because most of the times everything's English here. So it's hard to teach them that second language, where down there it's like, you're going to learn that language. And if you don't, that's why they call those bad words, because there's no excuses down there.
There is no excuse.
Yeah, there's really none.
But as time went by, and I went to Woodward, then I went to Wake.
Nice.
I transferred from Woodward to Wake because we moved in. Mr. Luna.
Okay.
He will go to Woodward, and he he told my parents, like, you should have him go to Wait. There's a lot more Latinos at Wait, and he would fit better there. I'm not from here, and people at Woodward, the Latinos at Woodward, I couldn't relate, to be honest.
Yeah.
So my parents, they transferred me to Wait, and it's like Latins. There's people there that I met. They were from LA. They were Mexicans, but they're from LA. So I'm like, oh, you know what? They're not from here either, and they spoke Spanish, and it's like I liked Wait. So
I loved Wait,
man. So my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I was at Wait. But my freshman year, Woodward. I hated Woodward. This place is not cool.
I moved around a lot when I was a kid. So I moved up here fourth quarter semester. Quarter, like it's a game. Fourth semester of 8th grade year.
Yeah.
And then high school was the only school that I attended to like finish
like the
it
whole
out.
Time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the only one. Elementary schools I went to I don't know how many. Middle schools I went to I don't know how many. And I ended up, where I ended up, the weirdest thing to me is I ended up at East Toledo Junior High. And I was like, this is a prison. this is a fucking prison.
It was built like
and
one.
It was. The windows are little. Yeah, I was like, what the and I came from Miami at the time. So I was like, we eat lunch outside and we can do whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, we're free. Everything's on one floor and like we're free. Like do whatever. Like get to your class and you walk from class to class outside. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I got here and I was like, there's fucking walls and windows.
There's walls.
There's bars on some of these windows, man. I was like, this is a jail.
Right.
So it was the most like crazy experience moving from there here.
It's crazy.
And then I got to Wait and I was like, oh man, like Wait was a great mixture of everything.
It was good.
So nobody took themselves too
right.
You still have your popular, your goth, your whatever. But like I talked to everybody, man. And I loved it. I was like, I'll hang out with anybody. Everything's super cool here. Like there's a lot of different cultures at this one school. I was like, this is great. I love it.
I wonder how Wait is, and I don't know how it is now with the culture. Are there different cultures now, or is it? I wonder though.
I can't wait to get Josh on the podcast. Right. I have a lot of questions.
How many?
With that.
What's the makeup? What's
what is it?
What's going on? Here,
I want to know more. Yeah.
But I feel like going to high school here in Toledo. I was one of the first Nicas out here because I'm old. Yeah, I'm 42. Yeah. So there weren't. Now you see Nicaraguan people everywhere too. Like you say, it's like at first you didn't see people, but now it's like everybody's everywhere. You see them everywhere, and it's like so I'm one of the first ones that I was the oldest of every Nicaraguan family back then. There must have been like around 8 families that I knew of. No lie, and we were all going to the same church. We all grew up together.
Yeah.
So. And I was the oldest of all the kids. So I'm like, we're the first ones. But now it's like you have Nicaraguan and Mexican, Nicaraguan and Cuban. You got Nicaraguan, Puerto Rican. You got Nicaraguan and blacks, Nicaraguan and you have it. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. But isn't that beautiful to see?
It is.
Isn't that beautiful? Because when I moved up here, there was like 2 Cuban families, maybe 3, and I was like, and now there's Cubans everywhere, and I'm like, everywhere. I'm like, what is this? And you can hear them because they're on their phones in the store, real loud. Oh yeah, que no sé qué. You're like, oh yep, that guy's Cuban, man. I know he is.
Out, man. I'm at Walmart and mira que no sé qué, no sé.
That's where I was. I was at Walmart,
and they were the self checkout thing, and they were talking, but it's. I know the deal, they're just having a normal, but it was loud, and it was energetic, and I was like,
people think we're arguing.
I like it.
All the
time. Am I in Hialeah again? What's going on?
People think you're like an argument or yelling. You're like, no, this is just a I don't know why we do that with our hands, man.
In the wind,
the Bruce Lee move. Right. You gotta understand my point of view.
I mean it.
It's a real serious. Actually, it's not even a real serious conversation. We're talking about anything. We're like, oh my god, there's a sale on these.
It was so cold outside.
I don't know why. We just that's a natural tendency. I don't know if it's just Hispanics, but I feel like it's more in Cubans than anything.
I think like, Caribbean people are very animated. Caribbean people as a whole, like Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans. You guys are very animated. Like Central American people, we're more subtle. Subtle.
You know what? That's very accurate, actually. That's very
subtle.
Accurate.
And the most subtle of the Central American people are the Guatemalans. Very subtle, very humble,
very
calmadito,
like super slow. They'll bring your energy down. You're like,
very subtle. We're the Nicaraguans, since we've been through a lot of stuff. We're up there as more like rebellious because of the wars and all that. But Guatemalans, very subtle. Hondurans, calmadito.
Yeah.
Salvadorians, they're a little up there because they've had a lot of conflict, wars and stuff. And if we talk about Central American people, the Costa Ricans son más creídos, dicen. They a little uppity, whatever,
yeah. But they dress it, but they act it though. So like if they feel it, you know what I'm saying? And if you feel it,
they say that country doesn't have an army.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
They chilling.
Yeah,
they chilling. Like they're
feel
cool
good.
Europeans, Americans.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem I think with Latin America. We choose sides. Like, oh no, USA now, Russia, hey, or or USA, yes, or Russia, no. And it's like, you know what? You gotta be smart. You gotta know how to deal. You gotta, hey, this is good for us. This is also good for us. Like, let us not corner ourselves into, I can't. No, because that's what happens. Now we over here starving, or you selling out, and now we got everything, but you're not happy. It's like anything. It's like a relationship. And that's what I've noticed we do a lot. Like we take sides on things that, let's deal with people.
But it goes back to what you said in the beginning. They're very strong in their sentiments about one thing, and then that's it. It's concrete, man. Once it solidifies, that's it. Like, that's where they're at.
Nothing.
No, because they'll come out with the story. And what is it like when you search for something and you're looking for that specific thing? Like, you're looking for the answer to go your way. You will find an answer that goes your way.
Right.
And if that's all you kind of base your information on is the things that go your way, then you'll have a very solid argument.
Right.
That does not mean you're correct. That means you have a solid argument on one point of view, but that there's counterpoints to all of those things. And I'm not asking you to take the other side.
Right.
I'm asking you to understand the other side. And maybe if you understand the other side and at least listen to those things, you're like, oh, maybe this isn't as good as this, or this is as good, whatever the case may be, but just inform yourself. That's all I'm asking.
And what works for you may not work for the next person, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you better or worse. It's okay to know that this works for me according to who I am as a person, as an individual, as a human being. It works for me, but it doesn't make me better because I believe in something that works for me better than the next person.
Love that.
I think that Latinos are stuck on that. I'm so dead
no.
like
time out. That's not Latinos. That's people. That's people. I'm noticing that with a lot of people, but I'm also noticing that a lot of people are kind of opening up, and I should say like the younger generation. In some cases it's opening up, and some of the older generation, because I know some people who are very open-minded, and I think it's also kind of who maybe like, because maybe I surround myself with people like that, so that's what I see.
Progressive-minded people who are very
it's like, hey man, I can, and there's some people that I literally there's this one guy at work that I get to work with, and I enjoy having arguments with him. And we have respectful discussions about things. Yes, very respectful, but we go like as hard as we can and we'll even sometimes, man, like we just feel like arguing. And he'll be like, what do you think about this? I'll be like, what do you think about it? And I'll argue whatever side you want me to. I can argue on this side or this side. But even when you do that, so if I believe in something, but you ask me to argue the other side, I can get in that point of view, and maybe I can understand what they're thinking a little bit better, and maybe understand why they're thinking that. And we have those respectful conversations. I think that's important. I think we both grow, and we're both like, oh shit, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even realize that. And it helps both of us kind of like, all right. Plus we get to argue. We both like to like talk like that.
And
so
I think that it's important that we have a civilized dialogue.
Yes.
Like it's very, for the future.
Yes.
Because it's not about who's screaming the loudest or who's waving their hands the fastest, or it's about understanding one another. And I don't think that we do enough of that. And this is why when it comes to political matters, I like to what they call it, troll people. And, I think it's funny.
It's fun,
but on a serious level, like this person wanted to get into a conversation about politics, And I said, I don't want to do that because because you're not ready to have a conversation with me. And I'm not dogging you. It's just you're not. You can tell when somebody's energy, aura, vibes, they're not in it for the conversation. They're in it for the clash or and it's like, no, if we're gonna have a conversation, I will have a conversation, but let's have a civilized conversation. Listen to me, then I'll listen to you. One at a time. We got I don't like that.
Or I tell you something and immediately you're answering me, but that means you didn't even listen to me, man. Like you're just shooting out counterpoints, but you didn't really soak in what I told you. You had a prepared statement.
Right.
If he talks about this, I'll deflect to this, and and it's not like you're not dogging him like you're not ready for this because I know more than you. No. It's you're not ready for this because I want to have a civil conversation, I would love and to. I feel that you are going to argue with me, and I don't want to argue. Like I really don't. Like I'm not.
Don't disrupt my peace.
I'm too old to argue. I argue for fun with people who and I'm using the word argument very loosely because it's not a real argument. We're not fighting. We are debating. That's the best word I can use. We are debating and very respectfully. And if we disagree with each other, we disagree and we go at each other's throats on the disagreement, but respectfully. And then at the end of it, if that's still your opinion, cool. I still have my opinion, cool. And we go back to whatever else it is that we're talking about, and we know that subject we have a disagreement on.
Right. I had a gentleman, a younger gentleman. He's 23. My oldest son is 22. He's gonna be 23. So I don't look down on this kid. I respect him, but I already knew how he came at me with this question about what do you think of the caravan, right? The migrant caravan.
Yeah.
And I said, what's the problem? Don't you know historically it's biblical, it's everything. People move. That's what people do.
Yeah.
I give him a very general answer. And then he was like, oh, he told someone else I dogged him because I really didn't want to engage him politically. And I'm like, you're not ready.
No.
So I'm going to give you the most generic answer. I'm going to answer to you accordingly.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about statistics. I don't have that on me. I don't know how many people have moved. We can't get into that. In 1965, Kennedy approved the whatever Immigration Act. No,
there's none of that. I'm
just going to tell you, like, that is nothing new.
Yeah.
I mean, Moses moved masses from one place to another.
Yeah.
It's always going on in Africa. Tribes move all over the place before, I mean, this is just happening because this is what human beings do. We move around. Things don't get cool here, we go. They don't get cool here, we go. That's what we're doing, throughout history.
We look for better.
And I think that...
But a lot of those moves are due to... okay, so Africa, we're talking about like water, resources, food, stuff like that.
Right.
Mexicans right now, the cartels are fucking dangerous. So it's, what do? I go here and get in trouble by the law or get my head cut off for... The guy, there was a guy recently who the cartel put up roadblocks, and the guy's house was wherever, so he bypasses the roadblock, and they killed him.
Wow!
You don't once they put that up. So that's it. A guy trying to go home, and maybe there's more to the story. So I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? So like, let's not put everything on me. Like I'm not the most accurate person. I'm a guy on a podcast just saying stuff. But the basic story, and you can look it up. It was a guy who they put up a roadblock. He passed it. They killed him. Regardless of what, death.
The guy's dead.
Percent. Yeah. So here are your odds. Your odds are I'm gonna find myself with the cartel because they're all around me.
Right.
And I'm likely something's going to happen to me. I won't say they're going to look for you and kill you, but if you have a nice car, they're going to take it from you.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they take trucks all the time from people. Like they do all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, I like that vehicle. Let me get it and retrofit it with my machine guns and whatnot.
It's a classic,
It's a classic. Or I can go to the U.S. and take my chances there, but look for a better life. And that's the second option. There's resources. And there's just your life. Like you just need to go because your life is nothing in a place like that. And here you have opportunities. Maybe your chances here are slim to none. And you'll take those slim to none chances and work with it whatever you can. You know what I mean? I don't know how to do this, but I'll find a job. I'll do this and I'll do that to move forward in life and have a chance at a normal life.
Right.
And they don't have that there. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. So the caravan thing was a similar situation where they're trying to get away from some epically bad shit.
Right.
And what are their choices? Die or get on the news and stuff for coming here?
Right.
They're going to go with that.
Right. It's just, and these are some of the conversations that people don't have the maturity to have.
Yeah.
Because people are just rambling and talking, and it's like, okay, I get that, but like, what are we gonna do about it?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do about it? You either go out and vote, or march, or you're doing something. I respect that at least. But
November of this year,
right,
2020, go vote. Just throwing that out there while we're on this conversation. Go vote. Very important. Go vote.
Mm-hmm. But to ramble and complain and it does nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing anything. I mean, I get that Facebook is a good place, or social media is a good place to express yourself and talk about, bring awareness about certain issues or whatever. But what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we can all sit and talk. You know, the old school Cubans will sit and talk and play domino.
Oh yeah.
You know, but they were talking.
Yeah.
But to get up, go march, go organize, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Agree.
You know, and I think that's most people, for the most part, that's what they do.
Yeah.
And this is why I like to stay active in the community, do things here and there, and do something. You have to do, and it starts with your next door neighbor. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, do you need? Hey, you're moving on. You're going on vacation. I'll watch over you. You know, it starts with that.
Yeah.
It starts with the kids getting off school, and you're saying hi, how you know, just being that person.
A simple hello. A simple hello with a smile really changes people's days.
Be a genuine person, because that's how you start changing the ways.
Yeah.
It's not about just talking on social media. You're just talking.
You know what's weird at work? Like, sometimes, like, I'm walking by, and don't get me wrong, like, I have my one AirPod in and I'm listening to stuff.
Yeah.
But like, somebody walks down and they're like looking at something, and I'm like, good morning. And they're like, good morning. I'm like, how are you today?
Right.
And like, they're not they're like, I'm good. How are you? And they're like off guard because they're like, why is this person talking to me? He doesn't know me. And it's like, I just want to know, are you good? But like, for a second, they're like,
right.
Hey, hi. And they're engaged in the world. And I think you get lost in that day to day. I got to work. I got to pay bills. I'm on my phone because I got to do this. And I got important stuff to do. And I understand all that. Don't get me wrong, because I do that a lot myself.
Right.
But I do when I run into hi, how are you?
Right.
Just nice. That can change somebody's day. That can change somebody's perspective on a whole day.
Yeah.
Just by something like that.
Just
I
think
that's
man.
Yeah.
Just an acknowledgement that you exist.
That's the word. An acknowledgement.
I exist.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he noticed that I exist, and I think that's great.
Especially when it's genuine.
Yeah.
And that's what we lack a lot in the world.
Yeah.
We're not genuine. We're just, you know, when you approach me about this, I sense that about you, and that's it. Because if I'm like, there's a hidden agenda, I'm not doing it, you know. But it's I sense how genuine you are, and I'm like, and we need that. That energy is good. I'm about vibes and energy, and if you're a genuine person, then that's beautiful. And
awesome.
not too many people are out there like that.
Thank you. That's why I wanted you on here as well. I felt it was important to have you on here. The whole thing that we've been talking about. I mean, since the beginning of this conversation, we've already gone on travels here, work permits, all that. Is the positivity aspect of it, the respectful conversations, and not only that. And like you said, how do you do your part? And I haven't known how to do my part very well. I'm learning that. And actually, I want to use this as a platform to A, get more information, and B, spread more information. Like, I think what I'm good at is talking. Like, I'm really good at talking.
And this is your purpose, perhaps.
Maybe. Like, I don't know, but I'd really like to take what I know, because I know that this is a beautiful city, and I know there's a lot to do here, and I know there's a lot of positive stuff, even though in the news you hear the negative stuff. And there's don't get me wrong, I'm not like sugarcoating. There's a lot of bad stuff that goes on in the city. There really is. But I think the purpose of that is because their attention is focused on that. And if I can turn even some of that attention onto the positive stuff, or even let you know some of the things or resources or positive things that we have here, that has the potential to change somebody's life, day, whatever it may be. I'm not looking for a huge astronomical change, but if I can help just one person say, oh man, you know, there are people out here that look for positive things. Oh, we do have a Hispanic community here. Oh, we do have things like the Mud Hens that I can go take my kids to and have a good time without any worries. There are good local restaurants owned by local people here in this city. There are people who want to help. Then I think that's a major impact for me. That to me will do a big thing. So that's where I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to do with this. I'm just trying to spread positivity, man.
And Toledo has a lot of good.
It does.
A lot of good. I lived in Perrysburg. Not to clown on Perrysburg, like the school community it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
When I was getting ready to buy a house, I was shown a couple of houses in Perrysburg. And the way I kick it with my family and my friends, I can't. It doesn't work for me. Not saying I'm better or worse than those people. I said, I'm going back to the east. I bought me a house in the Oakdale area.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it there. Double lot. And people come over, we cook out, listen to music, reggaeton.
Ooh, yeah.
And, you know, hip. I mean, but it's, the neighbors are, I mean, everything just, that work. And I'm so happy that I chose Toledo because I'm giving back. That's also, directly or indirectly, I'm giving back, paying taxes in a city that needs for more people to pay taxes, buy property, pay, because that's what helps it grow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy for me to say, oh my God, this side is such a mess, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And go buy a house in Rossford or whatever. Me. But you know what? They need us. They need people to buy properties on the east side.
They do.
You know, fix them up, clean the neighborhood up, join a block watch. I'm involved with block watch in my neighborhood. Go to the meetings once a month. We sit with police officers. We have conversations. That's what is needed.
That's awesome.
That's
super awesome.
We need to do that, though, because it's like, who else is going to take care of your neighborhood better than you?
Agreed.
You know,
and all we have to do
so
is,
much, you know?
Hey, just look out for each other. I mean, that's all you're doing is like, hey, can you watch my stuff while I'm going? I'll watch your stuff. Like, if you see anything, just let me know. Like, I'm not... If you don't see anything, it's okay. But if you see something, just like, hey, did you see so-and-so or such and such? Yeah.
So I think that Toledo, it's a good place, man. I mean, like everything, it has problems, issues, but that's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, some places hide it better. You know, the suburbs might hide it a little better, but you know.
And I think we have something really good here that a lot of people miss out on. Like, I think people see like big cities and they're like, we don't have this, we don't have that.
Right.
But like, have you ever lived in a small town where they don't have shit either? And have you ever been to a big city that got a little bit maybe too big and now there's no home feeling to it?
Right.
You know
It's too much. Too much. This is perfect.
This is not too big. This is not too small. I feel that. I feel it's very well balanced. And I feel like when I first moved up here, there really was nothing. There really, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was bad. I was like, what do you do? What do you do? And I came from a small town to here. From before Miami, I lived up here in like Norwalk for a little bit. Yeah.
I don't even know where that's at.
It's you'll drive by it, you'll miss it. And then from there, I came here. And even in Florida, I lived in a little town called Okeechobee.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I lived there for a little bit. And so those are small towns, man. And this is not too big, Miami status, not too small, those little town statuses. And I love it. But when I first got here, I was like, this is just like the small towns. There's nothing to do.
Nah, this is I like it here, man. Raised my kids here, and they're doing good, thank God. You know, my oldest, he's teaching 7th grade history, graduated from UT. My other son's going to college.
Very nice.
And I mean, this is great, man. I mean, I could sit here and tell you about so many negative things about Toledo, but why? When there's so many good.
There's so many good, and okay, here was my turning point. And then tell me if you see this or didn't see this, or if you saw something different maybe that I missed. I saw the turning point of the city when the Mud Hens came.
I would have to agree.
I feel that the Mud Hens came and gave everybody something downtown to do. Like, it finally was like, because before, like, what was down? I never came downtown. I was like, what? Like, why? It was all.
What was it? I don't even. It's so crazy. I don't even remember.
Like what? There was nothing. There was nothing. There was literally nothing to do. I don't remember coming downtown for anything at all before the Mud Hens.
I literally, when I was in high school, I remember going to this comic book shop downtown, and it was an old man that used to own it, and that's the only reason I came. I gotta give you the first issue of the Punisher. And that's it. I'm out.
Beautiful.
I got no business being here.
I got. That's it. That was it. I only came here specifically for that. That was it. Now we have a lot, and since the Mud Hens came, the business came. So now they're like, okay, we can open up little restaurants. We can open up little bars, little sports bars, things like that, surrounding the Mud Hens. And then they were like, shit, dude, this goes away like every season. What can we do? And they opened up the Huntington Center. And then the Huntington Center brings year round. What do you need? Concerts, monster truck shows, whatever the case may be. They got it there. Like, you can go there and see it. Like, all right, cool. And don't get me wrong, it's not the best for like monster truck shows. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm saying it's there though. If you don't have the opportunity to travel out or to do anything, they have that. They offer it here, and I like the show. I enjoyed it, and I know they couldn't do as much as they wanted to do, but it was a nice show. Comedy, music, all that stuff. They have it there, and that's year round. So now we have the Mud Hens, we have the Huntington Center, and then due to that, we just have a lot of businesses downtown, and you can come downtown and grab some food here, grab some food there, do what we have. Was that craft beers and stuff like that downtown? Like, we have a lot of things.
There's a lot of things.
I love that.
I like it.
And I love that little cock and bull. What else is right there? Tin can. What's the left of it? I always forget that one.
Bronze Boar.
The Bronze Boar.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's real calm, real cool, and then they have their little concerts outside. Man, I love that. Then down the street they have the Blarney. Then Mosteria, Table 44, then that little country place. Like, you could just walk around. Like, you don't have to drink and drive. I'm very against. Don't drink and drive. You can go leave your car down there, or take an Uber down there, and just walk. Literally, even when it's cold, you can walk from place to place. Just stop in each one if you're that cold, and that's it. And then take an Uber back home. You're good to go. But you can have your whole experience just on one street right there. Right across from the Mud Hens.
And even on Adams Street, they have their own.
Adams Street. This is more uptown.
Oh, this is uptown.
This is uptown.
Oh, wow.
You know how long I've confused that?
Uptown.
I keep calling it downtown, and Ado's like, "What are you talking about?"
So
I'm like,
is uptown?
"This is uptown." What? This is uptown.
Who said that?
I don't know. This is Village on Adams. Village on Adams.
Are you serious?
Yes. Wow. Oh, look at this. You're learning. I love it. I love it. Yes, I didn't know that either.
So this is uptown.
I still call it downtown, but yes, it is uptown. When I talk to him, I call it uptown. When I talk to everybody else, I call it downtown. Downtown.
We're at downtown on Adams Street.
On Adams Street, yeah. But even all this right here. Ottawa Tavern, this place, the Attic.
You got the Wesley's, the Attic. You got
Wesley's
Manhattan's.
is right down. Georgie's is right down here.
Yeah.
Like, these are all fun. I've had fun at all of these places. When they have their black parties, man. Their black parties, I have a ball at. Now, we have had some controversy during those black parties, and I hate that. Let's try to stop that, people, please, because we're all out to have a good time. But like, we have so much fun. Like, like Cinco de Mayo has one. Like, they have times where they do different black parties. What's it called right in front of the Mud Hens? Is it Hensville?
Hensville,
that open area where they've done concerts or they put. That's awesome. That is awesome. The Heights.
The Heights.
There's so many. I'm so happy about. Like, I love it. Because I've gone to other cities, man, and they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Like, I go down to Florida, I see nice cities. I've been to other countries, I've seen nice things. Like, don't get me wrong, they have their beautiful things. But I'm real proud of what we have here.
We have good.
I'm very proud of what we have here, and I think a lot of people just, it's cold and it sucks. Don't get me wrong, I don't like the cold, man. Today's nice. I'm pointing outside, but today it's super nice. But I hate the cold. But there's still things to do here. And yes, we have to deal with our cold, but we live up here. Anywhere you live up here, it's gonna be cold. It's not. That's just not Toledo. It's not like it's cold specifically because it's Toledo. We live up north.
In New York, they're dealing with the cold.
Oh man, I went to New York for New Year's.
It's cold.
It's cold. It's freezing. And then it's like Chicago because there's so many buildings that wind hits you and you're like, why? What am I doing here? This is beautiful. I'll come back in the summer. Like, I don't want to deal with this stuff, man. So I feel like there's a lot of positive things that we offer here, and like, for some reason people overlook all that positive and want to talk about the negative. Did you hear about so and so or somebody or this or that? And we have that. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think we need to push that narrative. I don't think we need to push for the negativity that we have here. I think pushing forward with the positivity, because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing that we have here, and I think some people take that for granted. Let me ask you before we go in, because we can go on a million different tangents, right? You know what I'm saying?
You ask me whatever.
I know. No. So what jobs did you get? I should ask that. Wait, hold on, time out. Before I even get to that, you used to work at UT, or used to do some work for UT, helping. I don't know the narrative. You told me here.
Well, I graduated from Wait, and I just remember my dad always, "Are you going to school? Are you going?" He kept bugging me about it, and I'm like, I don't want to go to school. He passes away. I had a kid. I got married young at 19. I got married at 19. I was young, and he passed away. And I was still kind of confused about who am I? What am I doing? What should I do? You know, I landed a job at Adelante back in 2001. I was working at Adelante in 2001, and I was working with the kids. Man, I don't know. This man gave me a chance. She said, you know what? I think you'd be great working with teenagers at high risk teenagers. You know, these are kids that are in the system, you know, talking to gang members. And, you know, I want you to run a group. You're going to go downtown and you're going to recruit teenagers from the detention center. And they're going to let you have them in the afternoon. You come in here, you're going to talk to them about the dangers of living the street life and all this and that. That was that. Working there, that was my passion. Like, I want to talk to kids. I want to tell them, like, you don't have to do this. So I grew up with Latin Kings in Miami. I know all that. So I had that background just growing up, and coming over here was a little different. But you know, I'm a '90s kid, so I grew up around that stuff. So, and talking to the youth and bringing them together, because back then we're talking 2001, 2002. East side, south side, north side, all this stuff. You know, the kids were not only that, my little brother was in the mix of all this. So it was my way of bringing him over too. You know, my father had passed, so he didn't have a father figure. So I come on, you come in here, you know. And so we had all these kids, and we would talk about we would have meetings, like, you know, by the Latino, things like that, you know. But the problem wasn't me working. The problem is I couldn't elevate, like, my position. That's it. That's all I could do. And why is it that that's all I can do? Well, you don't have an education. The fact that you're talking to kids about elevating and but you're not educated, you need to get educated if that's what you want to do. I'm like, okay, well, how do I? Well, you might want to. Have you thought about going to college, UT? So I'm like, no, I never thought about it. In fact, my dad used to bug me about doing this, but it's like, this is what I want to do, then this is what I'm going to try to do. I enrolled in school, and I was not your traditional student. I was like 23, 24. And in school, I saw that it was named Mecha LSU. Prior to it being Mecha LSU, it was just Mecha. But Flores was the president that changed it from just Mecha to Mecha LSU. When I come in there, why don't we get rid of this Mecha stuff? Because Mecha, it's a Mexican American movement, and it's like we're not Mexican. I'm Nicaraguan. We had a Colombian. We have Puerto Ricans, and let's get rid of this Mecha thing and let's just call it LSU. So I ran for president on that. Like,
LSU stands for
Latino Student Union. Okay. So I ran for president of the Latino Student Union, and that was my platform. Let's get rid of Mecha. Let's be the Latino Student Union. And everybody was feeling it. Like, yeah. So we become the Latino Student Union. We met with the founders, and it was a battle. Like, we weren't feeling each other's ideas or whatever. And prior to me being president, a friend of mine, he was the president of Mecha LSU. His name is Stephen Johnston. He's a lawyer now, but he was a president. Stephen Johnston is half Mexican, so everybody just thought he was just a white guy. But Stephen Johnston, his grandma and his grandpa, they don't even speak English. I met them. Yeah, it was just the weirdest thing. Yeah. He just had a white dad and a Mexican mom, you know. And so he was president. Then I become president. And here come the founders of Mecha. They want to meet with me after I became president of LSU. And I go to the meeting, and these are all old school Mexican people. You know, they founded Mecha in the 60s.
Oh, so like it's serious at this point.
It's serious. Yeah. They want to meet with me, right? Yeah. So I go and I meet with them. And they was like, Francisco, you don't understand how glad we are that you're the president. And I'm like, oh, what the? It's like, finally, a real Mexican in charge. You already know.
Yeah, Super Saiyan.
I said, well, I'm not Mexican, and we're getting rid of the Mecha. Okay, you make some enemies, you know. Yeah. And we went through battle over that, and we switched it up through a scholarship dance. When I was president, we raised the most money to this day. I'm not bragging. It was a group effort, but man, the place was jumping wall to wall. People couldn't sit anywhere, man. We brought this group, the Tejano group. Obviously, I was against that. I was like, wow, man. Yeah. Let's bring Cypress Hill.
No, that wouldn't work. No. Right. It
so
worked out.
You got to cater. You got to cater.
Absolutely.
So we brought this group. I don't know what their name was, but whatever. Doesn't matter. But anyway, so we brought them in. Awesome experience.
Yeah, nice.
And that's where that was my work with University of Toledo. I gave a speech about unity that night, and what we would do is we would sell tables to like agencies so they can, so we can raise money for the scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
One of the tables was Lucas County Jobs and Family Services.
Okay.
We sold a table to them. Each table was like $900. They bought the table, and at the time, the lady that bought the table, she was the assistant director.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, we don't know, but
I'm kind of dumbfounded. I didn't see anything move. I don't know. I don't know what that's.
Right. Oh,
did my equipment fall? You never know.
This place is haunted. So, I met the assistant director. She's a Mexican lady, and she says, "I love your speech. It was about Latino unity. Sticking together. Serving a purpose in the community, doing things together." And she loved the speech. And she says, "When you're done with school, come see me at Jobs and Family Services." And I said, "Okay." As soon as I was done with school, political science is my degree, which this is why I try to stay away from the topic, because I know some things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I went to go see her, and that's how I got the job there. 2 years later, I went in an interview and I've been there 14 years. And throughout that,
you've been there 14 years.
14 years.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there a while. You've been there quite a while.
People see me. I see people from the hood. I see people. I always. It's good though, because I'm with the people.
Yeah.
I've always been a genuine person. I never acted like I'm better now. I hug people. I see people. Man, it's beautiful to be able to help people.
I've never felt that you weren't genuine. You know what I liked about you was when I was very young and I had just moved here, and we used to play basketball at Ravine Park, and I met you there one day, and we were super cool, right? And there's a lot of people that I met super cool, and then we never hear from them again. Right. And I told you where I lived and all that. And you came knocking at my house looking for me.
I did?
And
I don't remember that.
Yeah, my mom answered the door. She was like, "Hay alguien aquí buscándote a ti. Dice que se llama Francisco." Oh, shit. Then I went down and you were at the park and we were playing basketball that day. And not a big memory for you, because all you did was come to some kid's house knocking, "Hey, we're going to go play ball." But for me, I was like, "Oh, man, that... awesome. I'm so glad he came looking." And I grabbed all my shit and I went to go play basketball that day. And I've never forgotten that. Yeah, it was a little gesture on your part, but it meant a big deal to me, because I didn't have that many friends up here.
Wow.
I didn't have that many people. So for that, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna go right now and go play basketball." That's super cool.
And in those days, that's when I was working at Adelante. Around those days,
I went to Adelante for I don't know how many months, but I believe it was somebody by the name of Jesse who was handling everything there.
Jesse, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I never so I just stopped going one day basically, but I was never in any trouble. I just went because I was like, "Ooh, Adelante."
See, it went.
I was like, "All right, cool."
It went from targeting at-risk youth to just bring everybody.
Yeah,
and which I thought it was so cool, because now you have the straight A students, and then you have the troubled youth or whatever. But we're working together. We're doing things. We're bringing these two worlds together, and people are inner city at the end of the day. So you can see that, hey, you don't have to be like this, because this kid is from the same neighborhood and he's
doing something different.
So you can do this too.
I loved it. I did it for I don't know how many months. Hanging out with everybody. We did a lot of different events. I thought it was super cool, and I think I found out about it that when I was at Wait, we did a trip
was
to.
Jesse an older gentleman, or
no? He was young. He was super young.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we did a trip to UT. Did some stuff out there. It was a Latino Youth Summit. That's what it was. It was a Latino Youth Summit. Yeah. And then somehow or rather, I ended up hearing about them, and I ended up just going and loving it. I was like, I'm going to do this for a while.
Right.
And then the same way I jumped into it, I jumped out of it one day. I was just like, I forget what I had going on. I jumped out of it. Yeah.
And you meet people, you meet. I just, man, we used to, the job at first, it was fun, man. They would give us money to take kids to baseball games, to the Detroit Tigers, to Cedar Point.
Awesome.
Man, and then the money ran out. Stuff like that, and it happens,
Yeah.
But I love working for them, and it's just crazy. I worked for Adelante twice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got fired once, and then it was like, but it was. Then I
what
was
did you get? What did you get
then
fired for? He's just gonna keep going.
Look,
go ahead.
The first, man, it was just so, man. When I worked, I was young, dude.
Yeah.
So like, as much as I wanted to be a role model, I was still young.
And, yeah.
And dumb,
young,
right?
Yeah,
and dumb.
Young and dumb. Trust me.
So I go to this workshop. It was something about say no to drugs workshop, but it was like way somewhere in Ohio, like 3 hours away or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know my boy Robert Gutierrez.
I do.
Okay, so me and him worked there. So and mind you, me and Rob, we've known each other since we was kids.
Okay, I don't know him. I've only met him through like you guys are with Flores. Like I've seen him, and I know him in passing, but I don't know him personally.
So me and him, we were both young. He's younger than me. He's like 3 years younger than me. So if I'm 24, he was 21. You know?
Yeah.
So they sent us to this workshop, and guess what we do the whole week? Instead of going to the workshops, we went golfing. And we would show up to the luncheons, you know, like we're eating, and people were like, "Who are these guys?" We show up with a tie, and like, "Oh my God, we're hungry. Let's go to the lunch or whatever." The banquet, we'll show up to luncheons. We'll show up to like the banquets at night, you know.
Yeah.
And we, I mean, what we were thinking that nobody was gonna tell us.
You know? Yeah.
So here comes Friday. You know, we're driving back. Man, that was cool.
Yeah, that was a great week.
So I go back to work Monday, and the director at the time, he's like, "Francisco, Robert, we need to talk to you." And it's like, "What happened? What's up?" You know, and
what do you mean?
They're like, "Yeah, they told us that you guys didn't go to any of the workshops." Like we were there for 5 days, dude, straight kicking it.
Oh my God, yeah. All right,
but
so that'll get you
there's
fired.
no bars, there's nothing, so you just go hoop.
Yeah, like just anything else. Literally,
you know, go do
literally anything else but work. Like, oh, I'm just going. Let's go golf, basketball, whatever. Let's go. We're hungry. Let's go eat there now. Yeah,
we did all kinds of goofy stuff.
Hiking. Who goes hiking? Like, hey, instead of working, like, hey, I don't know. Let's go for a hike.
So, yeah, man, they fired us, man. It's like, you guys, we can't do this.
That's hilarious, dude. Like, that is hilarious.
Oh my God, I'm a young father. What am I going to tell my young wife, you know? It was like, hey, they fired me. You know, like, what happened?
For like, what? I don't want to talk about it.
So,
injustice.
The second time around, I was a little older, obviously, and things were better. You know, things were better. But yeah, man. So, community involvement is key.
That's good.
It's key. We're not talking politics. We're not talking none of that. We're talking community involvement, being genuine, being nice, doing what's right. We know what right is.
Yeah.
We all know. It's just sometimes it's easier to do other things.
But
we know.
Yeah.
You know, but that's my background on that. And presently, right now, I'm involved. I sit on the board of the Toledo Latino. The commission, Toledo Latino Affairs Commission board.
Okay.
And we have direct access to the mayor, and it's me, Flores, a girl named Monica Morales, we have my boy Ramon Dienda. We're all Latinos, and we sit there and we talk about issues that affect the Latino community, like jobs, immigration. And we meet with the mayor and we talk to him like these are some of the issues that are affecting the Latino community. It's pretty cool.
That's super awesome.
It's pretty cool.
I had no idea about that. I had zero idea about that. How do you feel about it? Do you think things are like? Is it open dialogue conversation? Are there specific issues that you just want to bring forward to their attention, or
we find ourselves pushing for the communication with the mayor? I understand there's a lot of they're busy, extremely busy. They're running a city. I get that.
Yeah.
But we have issues that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
You know, and so a lot of times we have a hard time making things happen because things are very slow. The response time is very slow.
That's normal in any like kind of system where you have to go through this, that, whatever needs to get approved. In order for it to get approved, it needs to go to whatever. So I mean, I understand that whole process, but I don't wait. Time out. I don't understand that whole process. I'm saying I understand that it can be delayed and those kind of things.
And this is a conversation that I've had with Josh. You know, he's the president of the board, and we have to let our presence be known. We have to let our presence be known. And how do you let your presence be known through a political system?
Yeah.
Hey, we vote.
Yeah.
Hey, we're active. But you know, and so it's knowing how to play the game.
Yeah.
Because you feel ignored.
It's knowing how to approach it, I should say. Because it's play the game in the format that they're political. They have to go through all those things. Right. But how do you bring it in the best approach that, like, hey, this is serious. Like, this needs attention. This isn't something that we can, like...
For instance, there is a Toledo Police Review Board.
Okay.
The review board has people from the community. They sit with the police, and you're basically holding them accountable in case of any injustices or whatever. You pull one over a kid, you take him out of the car, you beat the crap out of him. That ain't right. Well, what's going on? It's a review board. Mm-hmm. We submitted names to be part of, because they don't have any Latino people in the review board. It hasn't been addressed yet, and I understand people are busy.
Yeah,
but this is important.
Yeah,
these are some of the issues that we're trying to iron out, some wrinkles.
Yeah, I think especially with that, that's a touchy subject. Before we even go any further into that, I want to say that that's a touchy subject. Mm-hmm. But the Latino community has a different relationship with the police than other people. That's so hard to say. It took me that long just to say it the way that I want to say it. Right, it's a very different relationship, and sometimes it's not fair, equal. It's not it's not how it should be. Mm-hmm. So it would be nice to have
and that's
some Latinos just to give their perspective. Hey, you saw this, but I saw this. Whether it's good or bad, or maybe they say I'm very proud of what they did. I'm not saying it's going to go one way or the other. Of course, because that can be a very positive thing as well. But to give an honest opinion of what they see, so that it's an official review. It's a solid review.
All we want
in that case, that's all I'm saying from the little knowledge that I have.
All we want. It's the right to sit at the table. Give us a chance to sit at the table.
Yeah.
Just give us a chance.
I like that.
We're not here to beef with no one. We're just here to. We want to be part of the table. We want to be part of the conversation.
So to argue it or debate it from the other end.
Right.
How many members are on this? Do you need to remove a member to add a member? Do you have to do additional members? In order to add a member, what checks do you need to go through to add that? So that's the game, the approach. Right. That's the part that's going to be like, how do we put this together? Are there a certain amount of members? Can we go over that amount of members? Do we add? Do we need to take somebody off the table in order to add? Right. If we add a Latino, do we need to add other ethnicities as well? Does this need to be all around? So all that, you know what I'm saying? Just to play devil's advocate and argue from both sides.
We were approached by the mayor.
Okay.
To pick a representative of the Latino community, turn in their paperwork so that they can give him or her a chance to sit at the table. We never even knew that we could do that. I mean, this is all new. I just started being part of this about 2 years ago. Okay. Josh has been involved with them maybe 3-4 years. So we're taking roles that used to belong to older Latino members, and now we're the new gen. We're the new generation. Yeah. So we're learning.
And you guys are old.
And we're old.
No, I'm just kidding.
But that's another thing. It's the culture. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about the Latino culture. It's the culture of the city. Some people don't want to let go of their positions, even if it's non-paid, but just to say, I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. The prestige,
Yes.
I'm doing.
Yep. Yeah.
They don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
But we need young people. I've been saying this since I was young.
Yeah.
Since I was in my 20s, we need young people to be part of these things because it's good to hear their ideas.
It is, but that's tough. That's a big task to go on a young person,
right?
And and think about us. Well, us when we were younger. I want to say I'm 33 now. I'm not old yet. I don't feel old yet. Not old, man. But I'm not at my youngest either. Right. But I know in my 20s I wasn't ready for something like that. Like you would have mentioned something like that, I'd be like, why would you spend time on that? Right. Because there's plenty of other things. Whereas as you get older, you can see yourself in one of those kind of positions. You know what I mean?
Right.
So maybe that's why.
Right.
And I think you guys are still plenty young to understand both generations perfectly. The older ones and the newer ones. So you guys are in a really golden seat to give a good perspective on both ends. I think you guys are at a good age for that.
Right. And just we're trying to figure that out. And I'm so glad and happy to be part of that with Josh and the people that I'm in with, because we're trying our best to give the people in this case the Latino community a chance to be represented, or to be able to sit at the table and be part of the conversation.
Love that.
Because we want to be part of the conversation. Yeah. We got something to say. As a people, we have something to say. And now that we're more diverse than we were in the 90s and early 2000s, the conversation, it's more important, because it's not just Mexican. It's we're all over the place now.
All over the place.
We're everything, and everyone deserves to have a voice. I think that's the problem when people, you take away their voice, is you take away their rights, because they're not saying, "Oh, you can say whatever you want, but we ain't listening to you. We're looking over here." But people deserve to be heard, at least once. Let me sit at the table and you, are you done? Okay, bye.
At least one time. Once. Let me get it off my chest and say what I gotta say.
Right.
No, I like that. I didn't know Josh was involved in that either. There's a lot of things I'm learning here today as well. So that's awesome. I think those are very positive things.
Yeah,
that's great.
I was also involved at Flock I was volunteering my time because I wanted to go help the kids. This was like 3 years ago. I'm an artist. Okay, I like to draw.
I've seen some of your stuff on Facebook. Very good.
I was recruited by this lady that was running. It's called the Flock Homies, and it's young kids, high school age, to do arts with them, but incorporate everyday life things, lessons. How to fill out an application, how to write a resume, how to dress for an interview, things like that. And I was doing that. I love doing that, man. It's what happens a lot of times. You have people that are willing to do these things, but like you said, the red tape. There's always something. There's politics. There's this and that. It's like, so then I had to step aside, and it sucked because the kids, they really need these things, but it's like, okay, I can't. It's not the kids. Sometimes it's just things don't align too well with how I feel.
Yeah.
But there's so much you can do out here in the city. You can do so much. You know? And it's just a matter of like, okay, trying to find your purpose. And I told you earlier, I really feel like this is good for you. This is good, and it makes me proud to know that you're doing this, because this eventually will get people talking. This is just the beginning of something beautiful.
I appreciate that. At least to spark the conversation. Yeah, like what are these guys doing? Who are they? Why do they get to talk? Hey, look, I'm just some guy who bought some stuff and wants to be heard. There's nothing more. I want to spread what I believe in. I believe that we have a great city. I really do. I want to know how I can make it better. And while I'm learning that, I figure more people can learn that. More people can get in tune with some of this stuff. All the stuff, not all the stuff, a lot of the stuff you just told me, I had no idea about. These consoles exist. What? I want to know more about this. Like, that's fantastic. And I love that. That's the purpose for this. I like it.
I believe in giving people a voice, man. Even when my sons were teenagers and I had friends come over and we're, just having a drink or whatever. Hey guys, come sit with us. Let's, we're not getting wasted or nothing, but just having conversations. Hey, what do you think? And they would speak. And what do you think? And my other son would speak. And now that they're older, they're like, hey, Pops, remember when you used to? None of our friends, like their parents, don't. It's like I say, because I grew up in a culture where kids, you're not part of it. You're still a kid.
You're still a kid. Yes, you sit at the kids' table. Where there's a grown table.
And it's like, there are certain things about our tradition or our cultures that I love. And there are certain things that are very backwards.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, this is not cool.
Yeah.
And this is cool.
Yeah.
But what's not cool, it's the overall, I'm not saying we all do these things, but just how women are treated sometimes. Like you're in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Hey, nobody's talking to you.
Yeah. I think that changed drastically though. I think that has changed drastically. Like but the old founding culture, I agree, that was wrong. It was so wrong.
And I don't know where did that come from?
I don't know, but I mean, honestly, if you look at the Hispanic community, let's say I'm going to take Cuba just because it's the easiest for me to go back to. Los Taino Indians on this little island. And it wasn't just the Taino Indian. I believe there was 3 or 4 different indigenous people to the island.
All right.
And you're living a simple life. Simple life. The man goes and does everything.
Right.
Goes and does everything. The woman stays at home, does the materials, the clothing, the food, the pottery, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
The Spaniards get there. What are these people doing here? The Spaniards impose their will.
Right.
The Spaniards later use it as a route for slave trade to get to the U.S. So now you have a mixture of the African culture and the indigenous people.
Right.
And it becomes what is the Cuban culture.
Yep.
And so that's the background, right? So that background begins with those indigenous people and the way they used to live their life.
Right.
And as it transitioned, they maintained that, but now it's with different boundaries.
Right.
So now, and it's a little bit more, I felt like more aggressive, where it was like, this is your place, this is our place. And as it went out of that tradition, there's a lot of traditions in all cultures that remain that should not remain. And that's one of those things that remains. So it's not that it was like you don't know where it comes from. It came from like a simple time that it was a certain way. I'm making all this stuff up, guys. Like, by the way, like this is my opinion. Like, you can't look at a book and say this guy's right or wrong. You can't prove me wrong either. But this is what my opinion on what happened and how that transitioned into what you see.
This is a thing that happened. I saw this, man, and it really bothered me, man. I went to go visit a friend of mine in California, and I met her dad. He was real cool peoples, and her dad had a wife. He's from El Salvador, but his wife is from Guatemala, and this lady, she's very indigenous, you know. And she was making pupusas. You ever had that? Pupusas? Oh, man, they're good. Salvadorian, man. It's like tortillas, but inside it's like cheese. And I mean, it's just...
You won me over already.
Oh, man, it's delicious, man. So anyway, so she was in the kitchen. I'm sitting at the table with the older gentleman. We're talking about, laughing, whatever, just having a conversation. I looked over and I noticed that she's just standing there, but she's still in the kitchen. This is so literal, but it's also a metaphor. She was in the kitchen. Looking, not participating, looking, we're over there having a conversation, laughing. And I looked over and I could tell she wanted to laugh. She wanted to be part of the conversation. I said, Maria, venga, siéntese aquí con nosotros. She looks at him and then he looked at me because it's his house. I'm telling someone I'm doing their house, but I'm like, es tiempo de sacar a las mujeres de la cocina y sentarlas en la mesa. Sea parte de la conversación.
Sí.
And she was so happy. It's time to bring women out of the kitchen and into the table and have them be part of the conversation. And that's a traditional thing. Like you over there, you do. We over here, we're having a manly conversation. It's not manly. We're cracking jokes.
Yeah.
We're nothing. We weren't talking about changing an engine or nothing like that. We're just cracking jokes. But that's the norm.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that. In my opinion.
Agreed.
I'm sure people...
No, I love it. And I agree with that. And I think there's been a lot of change within the last decade on that. A lot of change. Not to say that it'll suffice. I'm sure there's a lot more changes.
Right.
But that is one of those traditions that very long time.
Here's another one, man. De eso no se habla en esta familia.
I know. What is that?
You know, we're not gonna talk about that in this family.
That's exactly what I need to talk about right now.
This is what needs to be talked about. Let's have a conversation. You know, like anything, homosexuality or whatever.
Yes.
You know, I just found out that I had a brother in another family. What the hell's going on, Pops? Oh, why didn't you know? Let's talk about it. Don't wait till shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, they're very closed with information. Like it's super secret.
CIA, bro.
Yeah, G14 classified, son.
Dude.
It's
for real.
It's like why? And then when you go to talk about something similar to the subject, that es que tú no sabes de eso. They're like, you don't know about it. But you didn't talk to me about it. I'm trying to talk about it. Teach me if it's something I don't know about. enlighten me so that we can have a conversation and I can have a good, informed conversation about what we're talking about.
Not only that, Latino parents, for some odd reason, choose the worst time to give you news. Like, oh, by the way, it's your birthday, by the way. That's not your brother. Like, who? Why?
That is so accurate.
What are you doing? What is this? It's my birthday. You just ruined my childhood. You know, I just, the funniest things, like my mom, for instance, I know she's gonna see this, but it's the funniest thing. Like, ma, dice Pini que tal y tal cosa. No, yo no sé. No, le estoy diciendo que eso es lo que. No, yo no sé. I'm telling you, this is happening. I know you don't know, but now you know. No, yo no sé nada de eso. What?
Yeah.
It's just, that's hilarious, man.
You have to know. There's no way. I'm telling you right now.
I'm telling you.
I'm not, this isn't a question. This is a statement.
It is the funniest. It drives my brother nuts. But he's like, ma, te está diciendo. Yo no sé nada de eso.
Yo no sé.
Like, what? It's like, do you not want to be held accountable for this knowledge?
Exactly.
Like, if I know this, if I put it in my mind, then I'm part of this. No, yo no sé nada.
Yeah. I just told you. Nope, but it didn't go in here. So it doesn't count.
Funniest thing, you know, we Latinos are beautiful people, but we have some things that are hilarious, and then we have some things that are backwards. And, but you know,
that's all culture. So
I'm sure
you know more about the Hispanic culture because you're in the Hispanic culture. So you see these little things, and you're like, there's some things we need to fix. Every culture is like that. There's a lot of things about a lot of cultures that we need need to fix, and we're not going to.
It's not going to change.
It's not going to change. But at least
my tantrum though. I want to be heard at least one time.
People. At least one
Stop that, please.
At least one time.
At least one time, and then let me go.
Ay, Dios mío. No. I think, and the most important part of that is we need to talk to each other more. And I think that's the basis of every topic that we've had. Is if we had more communication, it would it's civil communication. Let me throw that in there. Civil and respectful conversation, and I think it would get rid of a lot of the problems that we have, or at least open us up to new ideas and new traditions. There's nothing wrong with new traditions, man. I think people hold on to a lot of traditions that are just like pointless. They're like we've done this for this many years. Why would we change it? It's like, you ever worked any job? They're like, if you can find a better way to do it, we're going to use that new way. If I can do this in 5 minutes, you just found a way that does it in 4 minutes. We're going to use, that's the new tradition. And if somebody finds it in 3, that's going to be the new tradition. And instead of embracing that, we've always done it this way. This is the way we have to do it. It can still be similar, or I mean, there's still points that a better version overall. I mean, it depends on what it is and what the new version or the updated version is. It can be very similar. It could be drastically different. As long as it works better, it's okay.
People fear change.
They're
not ready. Change is it's a lot. Like if you're used to doing something, and then all of a sudden, but it takes a lot of courage to embrace it. Because they fear it, so they stay away from it. So this is safe. We're gonna do this, and we've been doing this for so many years. Like you said, this is what we do. But should it be what we do? Just because we do it doesn't mean that this is how it's done. It doesn't mean that.
This is the perfect segue to go into this. Why don't you like Bad Bunny? What is up with this, man? What is up with you not liking the newer generation of this music that is embracing a lot of good things and a lot of the new culture, a lot of bad things too. There's a lot of bad songs, so don't get me wrong. So
no.
But their actions speak very loudly on some of the positivity that they've been doing. But they are very different. They're not your Don Omar. They're not your Daddy Yankee. They are very different. But they're making good music, good beats, good lyrics. That last part can be argued. Because it's going to depend on perspective.
Well, you
know what I mean?
A lot of it, like I told you, it's generational. You know? So some may say now that Cardi B is the greatest female rapper that ever set foot on the earth, and
I guess I would argue with that too. I would argue with that.
But you tell someone that grew up listening to maybe perhaps Queen Latifah, and they're like, wait, Queen Latifah had a message. She was saying things, and then it's generational. A lot of it could be background. You grow up listening to rap because rap was the voice of the people, poor people, poverty. Everybody that came out in the 90s, they didn't come out of a good situation. You had like Bone Thugs and Harmony, Cypress Hill. These are all neighborhood peoples, you know, and so you could relate more to them. A lot of it could even be racial though too.
Yeah.
You know, you have somebody like what's this kid's name? GCE, or I forget it. What is
G-Eazy?
G-Eazy or whatever.
Yeah. I like Jeezy.
Right. I look at him. I mean, I don't know what he is. I look at him and I don't know what is that kid? Italian? Is he Latino? What is he? I don't know. So it throws me off. So
yeah.
At my age, and I know a lot of people my age group, it's like, if I can decipher this, I'm done. I'm not even bothering. You know what I mean? Like, this is too much. Who is this guy?
This is too much information.
This is too
here.
much. I can't do this.
Yeah.
This is not what I'm used to. And this is going back to the old school. This is going back to traditions too, you know, and I'm part of the problem, as you can see. You know, but, so when it comes to Bad Bunny, I can't. Who is this kid? Like, I don't know what's going on here. I'm so confused. You know,
he was a bag boy. He was a bag boy in Puerto Rico who started putting out music, got heard, and started making music international. That's the most basic story that I can tell you. But he came from nothing.
Okay, see, I don't know that.
He came from nothing. Like, who is this kid? He was just, you know, like Puerto Rican kid, normal kid. Working a job, trying to make some music, and made it. And not only made it, it's had an impact within the last 2-3 years, a phenomenal impact. And is using his powers, his superstar power for good, man. He puts out a lot of good things about a lot of different communities. Okay. And I love that. Like, I love that he isn't quiet about it. And in his videos, you will see a lot of that depicted, whether it's guys with guys and girls with girls, whether it's whatever your status is, whatever it is. Weird. He yellow hair with nails. He paints his nails in glasses and weird. It's not anything about that. It's just he I feel, I'm speaking for somebody that I don't know, I feel that he pushes for you to be you, no matter who you are, and be you. And if you're not you, then you failed yourself. But if you're you, and if somebody doesn't like it, fuck them. Like, you should be you, and you should be allowed to be you, no matter what the circumstances. That's the vibe that I get on when he talks, on his music, on all that. And then on top of that, I thought it's good music to jam to, to vibe to. Like, it's really good. He's very creative. He's very different. But he does his own thing. And then he has that support, and then he throws it back out there for people. And that's one of the reasons, aside from his music, that's one of the reasons I like him. And that's why I don't understand a guy who's pushing that same thing that me and you push for, that positivity, that openness to be you. And I don't think you have an understanding of him. So you're like, I don't. You're like,
this is a lot.
He's weird. He's weird. He's dressed in aluminum foil. I don't like the guy. But he's pushing a good message, and he's doing a lot for the short amount of time he's been in the game. Look at all of the stuff that he's done. Those are big accomplishments for Latino people. Him and J Balvin took the stage at Coachella. When has a Latin rap artist performer ever taken the center main stage at Coachella? Never. Like that. Those are big steps that's helping the Latin community. And then on top of being in the Latin community and pushing people, he pushes all people forward of everything. And I love that message, which is one of the main reasons where I'm like, bro, of all people. That's why I even said, I put it on your Facebook, of all people, you don't like him? Like, I don't understand this at all.
I don't know.
Are you stuck in your? Are you old?
I'm old.
You're old now. You're like, I don't know. You know, get off my lawn. Like,
when it comes to hip hop, I'm an old head. So. And when you're an old head, you're set. The image of a hip hop artist, it's to me, and you can talk to anybody that's my age, Latino or not. It's a certain image. You go to New York, and there's been interviews where a lot of the old school rappers, they're not famous anymore. They're not doing it, but they would say Eminem. And don't nobody in New York fuck with Eminem. But that's not to say that nobody does. It's just
the numbers speak for themselves,
right? Obviously, but what they're saying is, hip hop originated in New York. Hip hop originated by like the black Puerto Ricans and the blacks. They, you know what I mean? So when things are not what they were,
they evolved disco. That was an evolution of disco music. Yeah.
So it throws you for a loop. Like, okay, so this is what this was, but now you have Eminem. So this is not what that is. And that's how old people, that's the logic.
Gotcha.
That's the logic. So this is what reggaeton was. This is where reggaeton is.
Yes.
It throws you off. Like, what? How did it go? How did the image not to say that there's a certain image, but
I'm gonna ask that you move the mic back. I don't want to miss any of this conversation, man.
Not to say
oh my God, you sound so much better when you do that.
Not to say that the image, but that's we're
that's your mentality.
We see things.
No,
that's hip hop. You see Lil Wayne, when Lil Wayne blew up, it's like that's not Tupac.
Yeah.
But that's hip hop.
You know what? I loved Lil Wayne when I was growing up, dude. I was so into Lil Wayne. I was like,
him, but now I appreciate him.
Yeah,
I appreciate him.
Yeah, he did a lot of good for music, and he grew up in music. Like that was it, and he was original. He did stay true to his style, who he is. And
not to say that hip hop didn't have party music, because they did. They had party music in the 90s and the 80s, but they weren't the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Mainstream was like people like Tupac, Biggie, Ice Cube. That was like, so it programs you into thinking that is hip hop.
Yes.
So you get to my age now, and then that's not hip hop.
Yeah,
but that's hip hop.
Yeah,
but that's how I see it.
I don't even classify categories anymore. Like that's hip hop. That's R&B, that's rap, that's this, that's that.
Right.
Like I feel that the categories are kind of scattered now.
Right.
So I'm just like, that's good, that's bad. Like that's my categorization. Like I either I like that and my body knows it. Like I'm like, my body's like, this vibe is jiving with that vibe, and I like the way this makes me feel. Or this vibe is not my kind of vibe, and it's not what I like. Other than that, no, nothing.
Yeah. So like when I think about reggaeton, since I'm programmed into thinking reggaeton was Don Omar.
But I don't think Bad Bunny and J Balvin, I don't think they're not like full reggaeton.
What are they?
An evolution of reggaeton.
Oh, see,
they're a mutation.
A mutation.
Just how like, humans have evolved to what we are. It got something a little different, and it went in a different direction. So it's a mutate. I can't say what it is. It's like a Latin trap.
Yeah.
Like a Latin trap, kinda / still with the reggaeton mixture. And that's how some singing, so some R&B. That's why I can't categorize these things. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's different, I'll tell you that. So if you try to compare it with what it is, like if you try to compare it directly to, and that's another thing. Comparison is the thief of joy.
It is true, because that's what I've done.
Thief of joy. You compare it, and then you're like, you can break down things that aren't the same or are the same, and then but if you don't compare it and take it at face value for what it is, how does that make you feel? And then kind of go from there.
And I think that you saw that also with the mumble rappers.
I was watching
like the Migos or the other guy.
I don't even know them, but yeah.
I listen to listen to the Migos. I like their music and everything. But that's not hip hop, but I'm listening to it. I like it. I mean, like you said, it makes me feel cool.
Exactly.
When I work out, I'll work out to the Migos or Drake or whatever. Like, this is cool. But
Drake's not a mumble rapper. Time out. I'm not going to put him in that category at all, because he's a lyricist to me. He's future. I don't. So here's the thing. I don't know much about them. Only then they're like popular songs because they come on. And I'm like, but like before I would dive into rappers, like when Drake first started coming around. Is the era where like torrenting was big, and I torrented the shit out of Drake and his mixtape when nobody knew who the fuck Drake was, and I was like, this cat's got I was like, this cat's got it. Like, this is super super awesome music. And these new people, like, I don't even want to dive into. I'm just like, oh, that was cool. Probably won't like the other stuff, so I'll leave it there. But like J Balvin, Bad Bunny, and them, I'm like, I hear something, I'm like, do they have a new album? I'm checking. Like, I want to know what the new stuff is. What do they got? What they drop? Bad Bunny's been dropping. Like, he dropped his album Christmas. He dropped this new song on February 14th on Valentine's Day. He dropped a song on Father's Day. He dropped songs like at the, and you like never know, like he doesn't say anything, just like the Super Bowl. I didn't know he was gonna be at the Super Bowl. It's just like, oh, this motherfucker came out with some new shit, cool, and it just catches you off guard. It excites you. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good tactic.
Outside of the music, I think images to me. Let's talk about colorism in Latin America.
Okay,
Black Latinos. Indigenous or mixed Indian with black or Spaniard, whatever, and so like that's an image, we've been programmed, and it's like we think like that, we may not agree on or think the same when it comes to these things, but me as a dark skinned Latino, I would like to see more dark-skinned Latinos be at the forefront.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
But they have to make their name. They have to do their thing. So, like, while I agree with you, yeah, but work for it. Do your thing.
Right.
Put in that music. Put that music out that I want to hear. If that's the category that you're referring to right now, I don't care. Like, I really don't care about color. I don't really care about background. Obviously, like, I'm a little bit more emotionally attached to Latino artists just because I'm like, I feel like a representation in some way, shape, or form. Even though he's Puerto Rican and I'm Cuban, I still feel that he gets that representation down for the Latino people. But if there's a good artist in English, I'll listen to the shit out of that artist in English. If he's black, white, Jewish, Lil Dicky, he's Jewish.
I like
he's
him.
Jewish. I love him, motherfucker.
So I do like him.
And he had no struggles. He took his bar mitzvah money. He even puts it in a song.
What is it? How do we, like, honestly, it's crazy because I do like Lil. I was just talking to my son about him, and I said, that dude is hilarious. I like him.
Yeah, he makes funny music. He makes you feel good when you listen to shit, and he makes you laugh.
What about 6ix9ine? What are your thoughts on 6ix9ine?
I don't like 6ix9ine.
Why? What is it about 6ix9ine that you're like, I don't like that kid?
I don't like his music. There's nothing of his music that attracts me. And then on top of that, his facial features and the look, I guess, is another thing on top of that.
Right?
Yeah, the image. Okay.
His image throws you off.
Yeah, the image does throw me off.
Because why? Why? Because you're probably wired into thinking that's weird. That's what.
Yeah, he did a song in Spanish with Anuel, and I was like, oh shit, and it was whack. But like, I still was like, oh,
that
you know
video,
what I mean?
The
video was fantastic, phenomenal video. Shout out to whoever made that video. Good ideas, but neither one of them really enticed me. Anuel is Spanish, and I don't like him. Like, so.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't like him. He's not, but yet he's surrounding himself with good artists, so he's on tracks that are hot that I like. So I find myself listening to him constantly, even though if he were on a song by himself, I'd be like, doesn't entice me at all. But he put himself in a good position with the people he's around.
See how you see 6ix9ine, and I like 6ix9ine.
You do?
Yes, I think that the dude is a troll. I think he's hilarious. He fucks with people, man. He just likes to say things, and you know, it's just funny to me. Yeah, they say he's a snitch and all this or whatever.
He went to Mexico, and I saw him handing out just money, and I like that about him. I like that he was doing something like that.
He has a story.
Yeah,
and he did an interview in a Dominican radio station in the Dominican Republic, and I heard it was all in Spanish. It was. This is that kid, not the other kid. It's an actor or whatever. He's doing whatever. This kid telling his story about his mom, his dad, grandma. Yeah, you know, all that.
It's a character. He plays a character in Tekashi 6ix9ine, right? That's it. Yeah, that's his character persona, but who he is different. I don't know because I haven't invested enough time to research the dude.
How you feel
to
about
know
him?
This?
It's how and I'm sure Bad Bunny is a cool dude.
Yeah.
But how you feel about 6ix9ine to be like, you know what? Do I want to go on YouTube and look up this interview? Do I want to really get to know who this is?
That's a good way to put. Okay. I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it. You don't have that drive to look for he doesn't have anything that makes you want to do that. Especially because I feel like Tekashi 6ix9ine is a completely different category. So I feel that Bad Bunny is too close to some of the categories that you hold dear. So then you don't want to die. I get it.
I'm like, you know what?
I get it.
Hey, don't get me wrong though. I'm at the club, at the bar, whatever. And, and a Bad Bunny
everything
song
goes out the window, and you're like, oh yeah, it's a vibe thing.
You're with a pretty woman or whatever. Then you know what? This is cool. Like it's perfect. I fuck with Bad Bunny. That's my dude.
Everything changed.
Hey, what you know about this guy? Man, that's my homeboy, man.
You don't know.
But you know, but that's my take on it. One is generational. Yeah. The other one is image. You know, and you can see it in American Idol. They know who they're picking and who they want to cater to.
Yeah.
They go and they weed everybody out. Now everybody can submit a demo tape. Doesn't mean that everybody's gonna get a record deal.
Yeah.
They know who they're picking.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what, this guy.
It's a total package. It's not just the voice. It's the voice.
This guy can do it. This other guy might have the image.
How entertaining is he?
This guy.
Yada, yada,
Let's throw him out there. Record execs. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let's throw him out there. Let's make some money off of him. The next one will come in 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Let's make some money off of him. And that's how it goes. That's how it usually is. So, but that's my thing with Bad Bunny. That's my boy when I'm at the club.
I got you. All right, I got you.
Am I gonna go buy his album? No.
No, man. I wanted to touch on the subject. I don't buy any albums nowadays. I got YouTube, or Google Play Music is what I use. and then I got YouTube Red. And when their albums drop, I get their I love it. I used to have to take a lot of music, man. I don't have to take music anymore. Those days are over, man. Those days, it's like, I'll just pay my subscription, and they give me all the music that I want. I'll download the whole album. I keep it on my phone. I keep paying my subscription. It's worth it. Totally worth it.
Yeah, Amazon Music.
Yeah, that's another good one. I have them too. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my take on
I got you. Okay, that was good. That was okay.
Now you get me.
Now, yeah. The way you gave me your perspective now. Like how I feel about him, you feel about him. I get it. I completely get it. I won't even bother you with the subject anymore. That's how much I get it.
Now sometimes I'm gonna just say things like on social media just to,
I know.
Just to get people going. Like J-Lo. Like I know the whole J-Lo thing. I'm dying
laughing. I'm like, this motherfucker is provoking. Look, that's all you're doing. You're like, how can I spice things up a little bit? I love it.
Look. Put them face to face or against one another, J-Lo or Beyonce. Oh, you're gonna have everybody.
You know. Yeah. This is very tactical. Yeah, that was very tactical. Like,
okay, now he's not. What is going on here?
Yeah,
you know, and it's like
and then you get to sit back and watch because you don't even really have to take in those conversations. All you have to do is say that, throw it out there, and just watch.
Like, who is better? You know, the other time I said something like, "Who really had a greater impact on Latino as a Latino artist, Celia Cruz or Selena?"
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And here it goes.
And there it goes. Yeah. And there it goes because you know what? They both had a good impact in the community.
Yeah, they did.
But people feel some type of way.
Yeah. Well, it depends what community you're in. It depends because you're obviously going to see if you're in one community more of an impact than you're going to see the impact of the other community. Who's to say one is more than the other? Look at that argument. Look how quickly it gets into like.
You can really mess people up if you say who is better, Ramon Ayala or Pedro Infante.
Oh no! I wouldn't dare to even jump on that. That's a whole nother group of fans that I wouldn't even want to mess with.
You already know. Trigger.
Not even.
Trigger. My grandma listened to Ramon Ayala. Like, okay, you know.
I can really taste the strawberry in this one.
I know.
This is really good.
This is good stuff.
This is good. What is this? This is Heart of Glass, made right here in Toledo. Toledo Spirits.
Toledo,
Ohio. Strawberry flavored vodka. This is delicious. 40% alcohol.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I believe I was told the bottles were made right here in Toledo. Label was drawn by a local artist. I don't know if all this information is correct. I'm telling you kind of what I got, but I can tell you it's delicious. I have no doubt about that.
How much is that bottle, man? I like to buy a bottle and just have it home.
I think the bottle was like $30.
That's
$35.
not bad.
That's not bad. No, not bad. I paid way more. I mean,
right.
So like, I'm okay with that. And to buy something local right here,
right?
I'll support it.
Right.
Yeah, not a problem with that at all.
Right.
It's nice. They told me the label used to be inside on the back, which would have been really cool, but it looks cool regardless. I like that.
It looks cool.
It looks cool. I like it. I'm really tasting it because I'm down to the nitty gritty on this. And you're just sipping my tea over here. Hold on. Anything else you want to touch on?
Wow, man, I just like this. I think this is awesome.
I'm very happy with this conversation. I'm very happy.
This is good stuff.
Yeah,
man. and I remember, man, back in those days, I was maybe like 24 around that time, living on Graham Street, right? That Graham Street?
It was Graham over by Dearborn and all that.
Yeah. Yep. That's when I had met you. Then I remember you were my brother's roommate. I remember that. I was like, well, I know that dude. Yeah. How did you meet my brother? Like, that was so weird to me because I never even knew that you and him knew each other.
Oh, yeah.
So like, he was like, hey, come on, I'm moving in with my boy and this and that. And I go to your house and then I know this dude. What the heck?
I forget how we met initially. I didn't know you guys were brothers when I met him. And I found out you guys were brothers. I went over his house one day. I was like, what? I don't know if it was through, it wasn't through Max getting our haircut maybe in front of her. I forget exactly how we met. all I remember is this dude. Me and him used to have so much fun, man. And like one of the first memories I have with him is at that one of the Latino youth summits.
Yeah.
And
that dude's a clown, man.
We had the phones back then would vibrate really loud, right?
Yeah.
And we would sit at the table, and he would just be like, he would make that humming noise so perfect that people at the table started like checking their shit. We're just cracking up. Just used to do a lot of little stupid shit like that. We got along so well, man.
Yeah, man.
He's a good dude.
He's
a real good dude. Yeah. And then we lived together. We were wild, man. We lived together for a while. That was the young and dumb type era there, man. We had so many good times, man.
I remember you got me hip to what? Pablo Francisco or Francisco Pablo, whatever his name is. The
Pablo Francisco.
Yeah. I was like, man, this dude is funny. And it got to the point I went and met him at the comedy club.
The Funny Bone?
Yeah,
I did too. I went to go see. I died laughing. I was like, oh my God, dude, he's got those great voices and shit, man.
Yes.
Dude was hilarious, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so yeah, man, we go way back, and the fact that we're not. Well, I'm not originally from Toledo, but and even if I was, I'm not Mexican, and you're not. So then that was also cool. Like, hey, man, this guy is.
Yeah.
He's not. Hey, so there's more of us.
Yeah.
Not all of us are this. There's that.
Yep.
And that's when that happened at the basketball court.
Yeah.
When somebody called me. What did they say?
The dude was getting mad because you were out playing him, and the dude pushed you. He was like, he called you a fucking Mexican. And you're like, I'm not even Mexican. And he started doing one of these. And you're like, he's going Super Saiyan or something. Like, what the fuck was that all about? Funny, I was dying laughing because he was getting really angry.
He was getting
and you
angry.
were very calmly but assertively telling him, I'm Nicaraguense. And he got upset about that, but then he backed the shit off. And I was like, that was a good experience that I had with somebody. You weren't looking for a fight, but you weren't backing down either. You were very assertive, but like not disrespectful, but very assertive. And I was like, that's how you handle something like that. I was very happy with how you handled it.
I've never been one to argue with people, or we all have a dark side, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I don't like to unleash that. I think it's ugly. I think that we should be more be able to talk, or talk to people, talk to one another.
It's way better. It feels better.
It feels better.
It feels so much better being positive and like trying to help out, and like regardless of like looking for a way to help you. And I'm not looking for anything back. I'm just like, like maybe if you do something good, it'll help out everybody. You know what I mean? You never know what little action can change everything. Right. And if it's something that one of my actions that changes it, I really hope it's a positive one and not a negative one that has that same domino effect that could take a lot of things down. I don't want that. Like I really enjoy having positive conversations.
I wanted to ask you something since I have you here. You were talking about on the other podcast about family, Cuban families. How you guys are? Do you think that's a thing in every Latino community?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I feel that's very big in the Latino community, that our family is very, very important. And not only that, generations of families live together. But I mean, all that comes into play also for our countries are very poor. So it's very hard to get out and move and do anything else. So the best way to move forward and progress is you all help each other out. Right. And all the neighborhood people know each other. And I think that's where I get a lot of that positivity from, is because I love that. Like, I do not want to live in one of these places. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I loved visiting Cuba, and I loved the people, and I loved the unity of the people, and the love that I got there, and that everybody had for each other, and the way everybody was family. There was you weren't a friend, like you were family. Like that was it. And that was a beautiful thing, and everybody knows each other, and it's like, who's that guy? Oh, this, and then we're good. Like that's it. And there's that kind of love there. Yeah. And I love that. Also, I don't want to live there because everybody's in a hard, struggling situation. So it's hard to get out of that to move away or to start your own thing somewhere else. You can't do those kind of things. So I think that's where the foundation comes from. Right. Like we come here, and
that's one of the good things. No. That's one of the good things that we do have, is that family. Yeah. The concept of family. Yes. And that's something that you lose because of the way the system is put together here. Yeah. A word. I don't have. But you got to keep it. You got to keep. That's one thing that I teach my kids, and it's like you got to keep the family tight.
Family's important, man. Family's real important, and things get hectic here, so you tend to forget. Like, and I went through that working at my last job. I was working so many hours where it was just like I forgot about everything, man. It's like I need to work. I gotta work this many hours. Tomorrow I have to work this many hours. I'm tired. My body hurts.
They're knocking.
I don't know. I can't hear it. If they're knocking, keep on knocking, but you can't come in. I don't care.
I heard that.
It's the ghost again. The people are gonna believe this place is haunted. How did his keys fall? Did you see that? We were review the video. How did his keys fall off? Yeah, just see blurs everywhere. Oh my god. But that wasn't something that I was speaking on. Just me, I know more because I know more about the Cuban community, obviously more than I know about other communities. But I feel that that's a very Latin thing. I don't think that's specific to Cubans or anything like that.
Another thing, talking about Toledo, and I feel like Toledo is family oriented.
I feel so too.
Outside of the Latino stuff. I
outside
feel like
of
Toledo,
the Latino thing.
It's family oriented.
The Toledo Mud Hens. Have you ever gone to a game and everybody goes there with their family? Or the Walleye? The Walleye is like older families yelling and you're ready for the fights. Those exciting games. But either way, it's very family oriented. I love that. And once you get too big, I feel you lose that. And once you're too small, you don't get any of this other stuff. Again, I feel we're in a good medium to have those positive type of things, man. Like I really enjoy it, and it's small enough to where even if you move away, your family's still there. Like your family's like right over there. You know what I mean? Like it's not a big distance, a big gap to close. So you're still really close. You still see each other. Like me and my mom, we see each other like every day. I try to help my mom out whenever I can. Nice. You know what I'm saying? Like she's getting older. She's right over there. I just drive over her house. Those are things. Those are principles that I think people should take care of. And I think we have that in the city. I think people really do have that in the city. I think it's still stronger in the Latin community than it is in other communities. That's just my opinion, though. I don't have any statistical facts to back that up.
Do you think we should lose our language as Latinos? Should we promote the language, or should we be like, hey, you know what? It's okay. We don't have to know the Spanish. What are your thoughts on that?
Fuck you. I'm very strong on shit. If I could learn a third language, I would learn that motherfucker. It's hard to learn another language, but I definitely promote the Spanish language. I definitely promote knowing as many languages because that helps to the prior thing that we've been speaking of the whole time, which is communication. Communication is key. And the more ways that I can communicate with you, I want to learn sign language. I really do.
The only reason I brought it up is because I remember you saying your son. Are you gonna teach him, or how does that?
It's hard. I try to, but it's not utilized enough.
Oh.
And my son doesn't live with me, so it's not like something that I can push every single day. But every opportunity that I have, I pushed a little bit of Spanish on him. We're going to Florida here next month. So I'll definitely, every time they go down there, they're like, you need to teach me more Spanish. It's like, yes, please keep this energy when we go up there, because once we go up there, but it's tough.
It's hard because when my kids were little, like I didn't even teach them. I mean, it wasn't a thing that I thought of. I was a 27, 28-year-old dad, and I wasn't thinking like they need to learn Spanish. I was more like, well, we're here, I'm working, whatever. But as they got older, they became teenagers. I started. We were watching novelas because they were with me half the time. So when they come over, it's like we're gonna watch Caso Cerrado or whatever. I will make them watch that shit, man. And it was funny because they're just sitting there like. And then the TV had like they didn't have subtitles, but it had like quotations or whatever. Like as they're talking, the TV could tell you what they were saying, but in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
like
saying?
Closed captioning, but in Spanish?
In Spanish. Okay. So I would make them read whatever, La Doctora, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And they were reading. It's hilarious, man. But it became like, okay, this, to me at that point, I was able to help them out. They speak Spanish. They were born in Toledo,
Yeah.
And a lot of times they try to throw shade at me because, like, had you taught us this when we was little, we wouldn't sound as crazy. But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, but did you learn, though? Are you learning?
Yeah.
So when I took them to Nicaragua, and they went to Nicaragua, and I was like, look, man, you can't act like these are your aunts, your grandmas, you got to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
I threw them into the wolves. They went in there, and they did what they had to do, Good. But it's like, it's a good thing that I was able to stop, because we were going in that direction with that.
Yeah.
And And because they're bilingual, not the best bilingual, but they were
but they're bilingual.
They're bilingual. They've gotten good opportunities at jobs.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's like, what?
It helps out.
It helps out
because you can help the company more as well. Like it's not you. Where I work at now, we didn't take any Spanish calls beforehand.
Oh.
Yeah. So then I work at Buckeye. So like. That's a big community. Everybody has internet or cable or phone.
Yes,
you gotta have.
Yes.
I guarantee you have one of those. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so when there were Spanish speaking people, they couldn't call in and speak to anybody in Spanish. And so like even when they did come in, they found out I spoke Spanish, so it would get like, hold on, time out. Can I transfer you this? And like, cool. And so like I spoke with some people there, and we got to push for a line to where you call in, you push two, and it goes to me.
Nice.
It goes to either me or Juan. And we take the calls, and we're like, "Hey!" And first of all, it helps the company. Yeah, it's me. There's only one other person outside of stupid jokes, the bad jokes. There's only it's only me or him. But like, you can push it. You get directly to us.
Nice.
Now this helps the company because
this call you guys.
Don't do that. We're trying to get statistics right now. Call a bunch of times, as a matter of fact. Call it 20 times. Hey, it went down again.
You need to hire another person. You need to call him.
So, but not only does it help the company, because now we have people. I like helping people. I genuinely like helping people. And I know the struggles that my mom has gone through calling places and like, I'm sorry, I don't understand you. Damn. Or like those kind of things where you're like, and they're she's nasty trying. With it too, and they're so nasty. And like, I get my job. Sometimes I deal with calls from other languages that they have a bad accent in English, and it's not Spanish. You know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck. But like, I understand it so hard that I'm like, I just want to help you. So like, I literally and I do one of these, and I just focus. I'm like, can you repeat that just one more time? And I'll try to catch words, and I help because I would never want them to go through what my mom went through, ever. And for the Spanish speaking callers, I want the same thing. It's more of like. That's another way that I can help. There's another thing that I can push on that I really want to assist on. I want people to be able to call, be comfortable. And if you need knowledge on any technical things or billing things or whatever it is, I want to be able to explain that to you to where you understand it, not have that language barrier where, sometimes they still don't understand. They say yes. And they didn't catch what you said. Yes. But you're like, they give you one of those, and you're like, is that a question or is that a statement? Like, I'm trying to help you here. So, like, if you don't understand, I'll repeat it. Like, it's okay. But when you can bypass all that, and I can give you a clear explanation. By the way, I don't know any technical fucking words in Spanish. I didn't realize that until I tried to troubleshoot, and I'm like, El modem?
El modem. El modem.
Like, I don't understand what it, but I can tell him la cajita con las luces. La cajita esa con las luces. And I can at least explain to them, hey, the little box with the green lights on it, that little thing, that's a modem. I should probably Google translate some of these words and open up my language, my Spanish speaking skills a little bit more, but I don't. I just
like one of my biggest words, man, is child support. I for the life of me, a usted le dan child support. Child support. Ayuda con dinero. It's like, huh? Child support, but it's like manutencia de niños. Right.
It's important to know those keywords.
Manutencia de niños, and I'm like. And I got that because during the hurricane, we had a lot of Puerto Ricans that came up here to Toledo.
Yeah.
And they were telling me, yo recibo manutencia de niño. And I'm like, ¿qué es eso?
Stealing that word.
And they're like, ¿qué es eso? Oh, that's child support. Eso es child support. Manutencia de niño. Okay.
Note that down. See, we live in an era where I could probably find the answer half of the time here, but for some reason, I'll get by with the little box with the green lights on it and work that way. But I love being able to do that. So the language for me is I would never want that to go away. And a matter of fact, the more that you talk about it, the more I feel that I should push this on my kids. And I agree. I have no argument. I have no counter argument on that one. I really feel that I should, but I would never want to take that language away. And I feel very bad for the people who get upset when I speak Spanish. And
people get upset.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I haven't had to deal with that lately. Actually, to be honest with you, it's been quite some time since I've had to deal with that. But people would get upset at me.
What would they say? Like, that is so weird.
One of the first things I have, memories that I have when I moved up here, is me and my mom at the grocery store, and obviously my mom doesn't speak that much English, so I'm talking to her in Spanish. And this older lady literally spit at us on the floor. And she just spit. She was like, "This is America. You should be speaking English." And I was gonna go off on this lady.
Saiyan.
Yeah, I was ready to go. And my mom stopped me. And my mom stopped me. And my mom was like, "Mijito," she said, "Feel sorry for people like that. Don't get angry. Feel sorry because they don't know why they're angry.
They don't know why they're angry."
And that's always resonated with me. That's something that my mom told me, and I've always taken that to heart. It's like, you know what? They don't. Because why would you be angry at somebody speaking another language? Like, and it has nothing to do with you. This is the way that we communicate.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I've been like, what's really the problem?
Yeah. And I'm older now, so the conversation or the interaction would have been a lot different than what it was back then. But I was a young kid back then. I was ready to fly off the rails, man. And my mom, like, super calm.
Wow.
It's like, no, don't do that. Tenle lástima a esa gente. Que ellos ni saben por qué están bravos. And that stuck with me.
I like that.
Yeah, I loved it. That stuck with me, and that still sticks with me. And matter of fact, at my job, I've answered in Spanish before. And
well, accident or what?
Dude, yeah.
What the heck?
They say accident. Like, you had to push the number 2, man. It literally tells you to speak Spanish with a representative para español, empujador.
Right.
How does this is an accident? But I answered in Spanish. Gracias por llamar. So, ¿cómo te puedo ayudar? And they're like, I need an American.
Oh.
I need somebody who speaks American. I'm an American. And I was so dumbfounded. So usually I'm quick, and I was still quick, and I was like, I cleared the throat, and I did that like intentionally. I was like, I am an American, sir. I was like, I'm coming out. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, and American isn't a language, so did you need somebody who speaks English, or did you need somebody that? It's like, yes, and that's how that call went. And it was phenomenal to be able to pump the brakes on something like that, and at least, and I didn't say anything rude. I didn't say anything mean as a representative.
Right.
So don't fire me, Buckeye, for what I did. But what I did is I told him, I was like, I am an American, and you're looking for somebody who speaks English, and I'll help you in English and Spanish. I'll help you in whatever language, but don't arrogantly say something like that. You know what I mean? It's rude, and it's not helping anybody. I didn't say all these things. I ended it with I'm an American. Disclaimer, I speak English. I can help. I know I have to throw a disclaimer. I don't want to get fired, man. I love my job. I really do. But like, there's people out there who get upset by these kind of things.
Wow.
And look, we're not. Yeah, the spitting on the floor. That was another level of stuff. But the point is, like, we're just more comfortable sometimes. Like me and Ado, like, I love talking Spanish. Like, we can express ourselves better sometimes. There's words in certain languages that just don't have the same effect in others, and sometimes I need that effect. Plus the whole hand movements and this and that, and I get animated, and my words need to be animated too. Plus the double entendres that you can throw out in Spanish. Right. It has nothing to do with keeping a secret from these people. Like, I don't care. I wish you could join my conversation. It's hilarious. I'm funny. I think I am, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hide or do anything like that. I just want to have my own conversation. As a matter of fact, and sometimes maybe I'm talking about some stuff that I don't want you to know about. Right. Maybe I'm having a conversation about some personal stuff that I was like, hey, these people don't need to hear about. Yeah, these people don't need to hear about the food I ate. Like, I'm sure they'll smell me later, but I don't want them to hear about what I'm going through. Right. And that's it. Like, it has nothing to do with you personally, so I don't understand why some people take offense to those kind of things. It has nothing to do with you. It's. I think it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Selfish of them to think that the conversation is about them. Wow. Conversation is not about them, man. Like, I don't care.
It could be.
Yeah, and if it is, I'll talk to you in English, and I'll tell you to your face. I have no problems with that. I talk to strangers all the time. Like, I don't care, man. Like, if I had to, I've seen strangers do stupid stuff in public, like drop some shit, and I don't know, we're mid conversation, I'll stop, like, hey, don't drop that. Like, just like, hey, look, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna direct it at you if it's with you. So like, I feel that's a big one that people should understand, that it's not, we're not doing anything wrong. We're speaking our native tongue, and just communicating in a different way. That's all. There's no difference between me talking in Spanish to talking in English. I'm literally just talking regardless.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's your answer. Never get rid of the Spanish. If I could learn, have you ever tried to learn a third language?
You know what? I watched so many kung fu movies that I thought that I spoke Cantonese or what's the other, Mandarin, and I'm like, I know exactly what. I memorized so many things that at one point in time in my life, I seen so many kung fu movies, and I had a girl come over and was watching one of these movies, and I knew, and she's like, "You speak Cantonese?" Yes.
Yes. Not even gonna argue. Not even gonna say that.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Very fluently.
Right. But no, I don't have an interest in it. But
I do have an interest in it, but I can't. I've tried. It's hard. It's very hard.
The closest,
I can't say I've tried because I haven't dedicated real time to it.
Right.
It's one of those things where like I started to get into it and I realized I was like, this is going to be a lot of work. Like this is not going to be like I'm just going to learn this language. This is going to be something that you're going to have to dedicate yourself to every single day for X amount of hours and involve yourself in a community that speaks this in order to get it.
Right.
And I was like, that's too much work.
What
man.
language was it?
That's a messed up. It's actually just Portuguese, which is very similar to Spanish.
you picked the easiest one.
I know,
too.
and it was still too hard. I was like, no, I can't do this, man. I refuse. I didn't want to admit
crazy.
that.
It was
I wasn't gonna say.
It was the easiest one. Like I'm not gonna do it.
It's like we know English. It's like I wanted to speak Britain, but no, that was too. It's hard. It's the accent that they have with it.
Right. Why did you pick Portuguese? Just because you thought it was the easiest?
Because it was super cool, man. I watched that movie with The Rock, Walking Tall, where they were in the jungle fighting, and the dude was fighting him. He's like, "Yo voy a romper toda la cara." The way he said it, because I say it in Spanish, "Te voy a romper la cara," but the way he said, he's like, "Yo voy a romper toda la cara," and I was like, I need to know that language, man, because I got to talk to motherfuckers like this.
Right.
I don't know when I would talk to motherfuckers like this, but that was what was going through my head at the time when I wanted to investigate this.
Yeah, there was a time where I thought I spoke Italian because of the Godfather movie.
Like,
I know everything they're saying.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, there's subtitles, but I still know.
Dude, Italian is tough. Italian is super tough. I thought that Italian was similar enough to where we could speak it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Wow.
That you'll catch one word out of maybe every 2 sentences.
Wow.
Yeah, it is tough. Because even the word, even though it's the same, it's some letters added or a different enunciation on different letters, and you're like, I think that's. I'm confused. I don't know. Right. It's hard. That's a hard one.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in any other language.
Yeah, I know.
I'm okay.
That's why I figure sign language.
I just learned how to say child support in Spanish like a year ago. I think I'm okay now. And I'll say it proudly, man. Like I know how to say child support in Spanish.
I know. Yeah, I learned it.
Right, but no, I don't. I'm good with that, man.
Yeah, I want to learn sign language because I feel that it would be nice to be able to communicate with some people.
You know what?
That it would be hard to communicate with. I feel that's a language barrier. Where other languages, I feel like I can use things like Google Translate, and honestly, we could write stuff down and I could communicate with somebody that way. Yeah. It'd be nice to at least know some simple things in that. But I'd have to dedicate the time to it. You know what I mean? I need to find the time. Time is rough. Time is I'm
busy.
Yeah. No, you can make time for things if you want to. You can make time for things if you really want to. But it's sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you are busy. Sometimes it's like I can't do this every week. I can't do this every X. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's hard to find things like that. And this is taking up a lot of my time. This is learning, man. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I'm YouTubing so much shit. You'll find me just YouTubing all types of shit. How do I make the mic sound better? How do I get the lighting? How do I record? How do I use this? I don't know shit, man. I am literally, this is from the ground up, just me doing some research, finding the cheapest shit that I could find because I'm poor, and still being able to push what I want to push. You know what I'm saying? Like this is me. So this is taking up a lot of my time, and then later I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna edit this video. I don't know shit about editing, man. I'm just learning how to edit shit.
Do you have a time limit on that you want to put on these videos? Or?
Not at all. Oh, okay. Absolutely not. We will never stop until the conversation is done. I'll never say, "Hey, buddy." wrap this shit up. I had plans today. Unless some shit dies, like I'm gonna look back every once in a while and be like, "Is it still recording? It's still recording. I'm still good to go." I get scared. The first podcast that I did, you'll notice a lot of edits. My computer crashed. It died, and I thought I lost everything that we had worked for. So you'll see some transitions in there where it's like, fuck, this is a learning process, man. I am not skilled in any of this, nor am I claiming to be. I have this goal in mind that I told you how I feel about this. I'm very proud to say that. I'm very happy about it. Like I really want to push that goal forward. But I am by no means an expert on any of this. All I know is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. I'm just doing stuff because Gary V, Gary V is like a motivational speaker.
Okay.
And I listen to him. I listen to motivational speakers and shit like that. And one of the main things is like, just do it. It's like, you're not gonna do shit if you don't do shit. You're not gonna accomplish anything. Just do it. And like, I've heard that like a million times. And finally, I was like I'm doing all this research, and finally, I'm like, I just need to fucking do it. Like, why am I still researching? Like, just do it.
Just do it.
What's the worst that happens? Like, this fails. If it fails, what the fuck ever. It failed, and I'll do some different shit, or I'll try to find a niche. But like, honestly, I feel very good about this, and I feel that I can get some good people from this city to talk about it. Like, all I want to do is talk about your perspective on the city, your positive impact. What do you do here? And then give the people a way to reach you or reach me, or at least you can send something in and look for resources on things. That's all I want. Like, yeah, I heard that shit too.
I'm trying to tell you, man. I keep hearing stuff.
I'm hearing some shit, man. I don't know what's going on.
Right, man, if we die, we die.
We die together, and here in Pocoloco, live to the infamous, man. Like, you can eat right here where Nicaragüense and a Cuban authentic.
Oh, wow.
It's like, oh shit,
man.
We're still helping our community.
Right, we're trying to do our best, man.
Yeah. So that I mean, that's the whole thing here, man. Yeah. I'm not putting a time limit on any of this. I'm just gonna do it, and then find a way to edit it later, and then put it out later. The episode I did before, I'm going to release it tomorrow, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then the episode I'm doing now, I'd like to release it next Monday. I got a next guest next week, and I'd like to do him the Monday after. And I just want to keep this trend up like as good as I can. I don't know how good I can. I have no idea. I'm literally like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. Like, and I have no problem admitting that. Like, I'm okay with that. I've done a lot of stuff in my life that I'm very knowledgeable about.
Right.
But it's turned out fucking nowhere. So why am I scared to do something that I'm not knowledgeable about? What's the worst that can happen? Like, I've already had these kind of outcomes.
What would you consider failure on this? Like, what would
I don't consider anything failure. So, if I'm already winning because I got you, I got Ado, I got Josh coming on here, I got my boy Drake's coming on next week. He has his own shop, apparel shop. Like,
nice.
All I'm doing is spreading positivity. Even if I have to get on this microphone and talk about myself, I'll talk to myself about the things that I know, and hopefully get some kind of response. I'm looking for a positive. There's going to be a lot of negative responses to this. I'm waiting for it. I'm okay with that. I am okay. I'm not reading comments for shit. I don't want to deal with that kind of shit. Positive things I hope I hear as well. I want people to be able to reach out and get to me with certain things that they would like to hear on here, or certain guests maybe that they would want, or anything like that. Cool. If I can get to, like, if I can get away, like, I got there's MudTalks@gmail.com. If they send me an email, cool. Like, that'd be awesome. I'll push that forward. But I don't really see a failure in this regardless. I'm already doing what I wanted to do. Whether that reaches just a couple people or a lot of people, regardless of it, it reached somebody.
It's a good attitude, man. This is good stuff, man.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm happy with it. I'm happy. Excited. I'm happy with it already. Yeah.
I'm excited for you just because I know that this is good. I just see it. I don't know why I get good vibes from the whole everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
It's good stuff.
That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm shooting for, man. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yep.
Anything else you want to touch on?
No. I just well, if we're gonna wrap it up, I just want to let everyone know that I work at Jobs and Family Services, or popularly known as the Welfare Office. And, you know, my name is Francisco Aguilar, and if you ever need any help, I speak Spanish. I'm bilingual. Si necesitan ayuda, contáctenme. Pregunten por mí, Francisco Aguilar, en el Departamento de las Estampillas. And I'm also involved in a lot of things in the city, and I'm about positive things, man. And I just want to, if I can help, I'll help. And I do things how I want, you know, I do them because I want to do them, not because I'm obligated to do them. And that's something that people need to understand. Like, no one's obligated to nothing, but if they want to do it, do it. That way you're not like, I can't believe I did this and this happened. No, I did it. Nobody did me dirty, nothing. I did it. I wanted to do it. It's okay. So I'm just here to spread love and positivity and good vibes. And that's it.
That's beautiful.
That's it, man. Everything else, pa' fuera.
Pa' fuera. Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate everything. I really do. Good night, guys.